what she has said, more about the hypocrisy of her stand, and of course the expediency of the TMC or the Trinamool Congress. There's no doubt about it. Within hours of Mahua Moitra making the statement on Goddess Kaali, just like the BJP, the TMC too has thrown her under the bus, leaving Moitra to fend for herself. Let me remind you, viewers, let me remind you that on Tuesday, Moitra stirred a controversy with her remarks that she has every right as, quote, an individual to imagine Goddess Kaali as a meat-eating and alcohol-accepting goddess, unquote. Because according to her, every person has the right to imagine their god and goddesses in his or her own way. Now, if that is the case, then can Mahua Moitra also tell us whether she supports Salman Rushdie, Taslima Nasreen, or the rights of the folks at Charlie Hebdo to imagine God with the same alacrity as she chooses to? If she does, then she must speak up, supporting them so as to avoid being labeled a hypocrite. You can hardly come down, Miss Moitra, with all due respect. You can hardly come down on Nupur or on the Nasreens of the world or the Charlie Hebdos of the world, but give a license to the filmmaker in Canada. You just can't do that. You can't pick and choose. If you say that everyone has an equal right to imagine their gods and goddesses, then you must welcome the work of imagination that Salman Rushdie, Taslima Nasreen, or the cartoonists at Charlie Hebdo came up with. Just as you are supporting the filmmaker who imagined Kaali, the goddess, to be smoking and to be a champion of LGBTQI rights. Now, viewers, let's come to the TMC, the Trinamool Congress. Clearly, Moitra's own party believes what she has said is condemnable. Within hours of her making the remarks on Goddess Kaali, the TMC condemned Moitra and distanced the party from her comments. This is clearly expedient. After all, when Nupur Sharma made the comments that have sparked a controversy, the TMC, led by its supreme leader, called for her prosecution and arrest. When Nupur didn't comply with the Bengal police summons, a lookout notice has been issued against her. No such steps have been taken by the Bengal police force to arrest Moitra, despite Hindus filing cases against her, at last count 50 cases, for causing hurt to their sensitivities. Why? Why, viewers? Why the double standards? Why isn't there a posse of policemen arresting Mahua Moitra right now? The TMC says that the BJP has not arrested Nupur Sharma, and that, they say, is a travesty. Nupur also outraged the sensitivities, according to the BJP and the government, of Hindus. Whether we like it or not, viewers, that's what the BJP and the government have said. They described her as a fringe. And that, the TMC says, is evidence enough that she's guilty, that she must be arrested, taken into custody. Viewers, the TMC has done, as I just told you, much the same. They've also held up Moitra as guilty in the court of public opinion and, of course, in their own court. They passed a judgment. So then, now that there are cases against her, why haven't they arrested her? Those are legitimate questions, viewers. The Bengal police's lack of action is perhaps even emboldening Mahua Moitra. The MP has taken to Twitter to attack the BJP and reiterate her controversial remarks. In a series of defiant tweets, Mahua Moitra writes, "Sanghi is lying. won't make them better Hindus. I never backed any poster or mentioned smoking. Suggest you visit my Ma Kaali in Tarapet. See what food and drink is offered at Bhog. Bring it on, BJP. I am a Kaali worshipper, not afraid of your ignoramuses, goons, cops, trolls. Truth doesn't need backup forces. Jai Ma Kaali, she is fearless and non-appeasing. Now, this could easily have been written. She could have addressed these remarks to her own party that have distanced themselves from her tweets. While the Congress and the ecosystem have come out in Mahua's support, saying Mahua only said what every Hindu knows, listen to the TMC duck and dodge questions on her arrest. Watch this, viewers.
We condemn this also in equal voice.
But Shubhendu demanded arrest of Mahua Moitra.
That is neither here nor there. That is for the administration to look into. This is not for the party to say anything.
We will not take advice from Shukanta Majumdar on what we should do about our own MP. We are considering Mahua Moitra's stand and we shall take a decision at the appropriate.
अगर वह हिंदुस्तान की पार्टी है तो उनको नूपुर शर्मा को पहले गिरफ्तार करना चाहिए, उसके बाद महुआ को गिरफ्तार किया जाना चाहिए। ऐसे स्पोक्स पर्सन को अभी तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी गिरफ्तार नहीं कर पाई है और अब महुआ मोत्रा को जो है मोहरा बनाया जा रहा है।
Viewers, let's open this up. Time to ask some basic questions up front on the show. And I want to begin first with the TMC MP, Member of Parliament, Dr. Shantanu Sen, and spokesperson. Dr. Sen, some basics, let's get them out of the way. I just want some basic answers. Why has your party condemned Moitra for her remarks? What is so objectionable? The comments made by Mahua Moitra at the India Today Conclave East 2022 and her views expressed on Goddess Kaali have been made in a personal capacity and not endorsed by the party in any manner or form. You have amplified the words, the party, any manner or form. All India Trinamool Congress strongly condemns such comments. So, what is so condemnable about these comments? Can you explain to me?
Yeah, good evening. First of all, let me tell you, our party stand is very clear.
Yes, sir.
Neither our party supports that poster issue,
right,
nor our party endorse the statement made by our Member of Parliament, Mahua Moitra.
Yes, sir.
At the same time, we strongly say that probably in no time our party expressed its views after Mahua Moitra's comment. On the contrary, Nupur Sharma's statement, which has brought down the face value of our country worldwide, like anything.
No, Dr. Sen, excuse me, sir. I know what you have said. I just read out what you have said. I'm asking you, why do you believe? It's a very straight, basic question. Why do you believe what Ms. Moitra has said, the Member of Parliament, the Honourable Member of Parliament has said, is condemnable? Can you explain to me? Because I am quite dumb and I don't know why. So can you explain?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. We do respect all the religions.
Okay.
We strongly believe that religion is yours and festival is for all the people. That's why our Chief Minister, Madam Mamata Banerjee, always says what is said in Bengali, Dharmo jar jar utsav sabar. That means religion is your own, but the festival is for all. That's why our leader Mamata Banerjee respects all the religions, and we strongly condemn this type of statement which might hurt the sentiment of any of the religious people.
Important.
That's why,
viewers, very important. The TMC says that it respects all religions. Now, Dr. Sen, that's very good of you to say. Now, Dr. Sen, does that mean that Mahua Moitra does not respect the Hindu religion by making these statements?
No. Like when we worship Goddess Kaali, you might have some idea in your mind. I might have some different idea about that goddess in my mind.
No, but you have called a statement. Should I read it out to you, sir? I'll just read it out to you. The party in any manner or form, not endorsed by the party, her statements made in personal capacity, not endorsed by the party in any manner or form. Trinamool Congress strongly condemns such comments. So if you condemn them because you say that you respect all religions, it stands to reason that she doesn't respect the religion that she is talking about, isn't it, sir?
No. This is her personal comment. I repeat once again.
But you condemn her personal comment. Why? Because you respect all religions.
Because that's
Ergo, she doesn't respect the religion. That's why there's a disagreement.
No. Let me answer your question, my dear.
Yes, sir.
Because she tried to depict Goddess Kaali in her own fashion.
Okay. Which you don't agree with, right? You find it condemnable.
Which might not be good to you, which might not be good to me.
Okay. So it's you're saying it's condemnable. However she has tried to depict Goddess Kaali is condemnable. Okay, let's take it at face value. Now, if you say that it is condemnable, then why haven't you initiated suspension proceedings against her?
Here lies your answer. Your answer.
Right.
You have to give me the chance to clarify. Number
Please.
one, Nupur Sharma's statement, which has brought down the face value of our country worldwide, which has set the entire country on fire. BJP took 10 to 12 days to make a comment on it to suspend Nupur Sharma.
Okay.
And after that, they gave special security to Nupur Sharma. On the contrary, probably in no time, our party has expressed its view. Here lies the difference. So you just cannot count on the same way. It is only 24 hours within which you got the stand of our party. On the contrary, did you get the stand of BJP party on Nupur Sharma statement?
So let me tell you another thing then. No, I am not endorsing anybody, sir. Please. I am, as you know, somebody who has already taken a position, just like the BJP and the TMC. You see, I have no spine. So I've already taken that position because I know what happens. I know what happens. They'll come for you, either the police or, as you know, the obscurantists. So it's better just to say, like you have said. What have you said? All India Trinamool Congress strongly condemns such comments. So I'm also saying it. I plead guilty, sir, to not stand up for free speech. God alone knows where it gets you today in this country. We've gone back in time. You see, we've gone back to the time when the guillotine falls on your head for free speech. But I don't want to be one of those who lost his head. And I don't want to lose it in the debate, because right now you're spinning me around and it might just fall off my shoulders. But I just want to say something, Dr. Sen. You find it condemnable. You've come out to say the BJP took 15 days, 20 days, 3 months, whatever it is. They brought, all sorts of inglories to this nation. Fine, sir. That's absolutely fine. I accept that point. But Mahua Moitra has gone out there, despite being a member of your party. She's reiterated her condemnable remarks. And she says that, look, all of you, take a walk. I just read out what she has said. She's reiterated her view. So she's rubbed your nose into it. The TMC can distance itself, but Mahua Moitra stands by this. And she's a member of parliament representing your party in India's parliament. So if she's reiterated these remarks, Nupur Sharma took, 20 days to apologize. Moitra is not apologizing. She's reiterating with great defiance. She's also got a great pat on her back from the legendary Shashi Tharoor, who is, of course, the doyen of free speech in this country and belongs to a party that upholds it to the last word and letter. And, of course, let's also not forget, Dr. Sen, and we must not forget this, that there are others, people who make a living out of freedom of expression, who have come out and supported your MP in India's parliament, who believes this. So do you think that by reiterating, she's not compounded this offense and rubbed your face into the ground?
I hope you would allow me to answer your question.
Please, go ahead, sir.
you are a very important journalist of your house.
Yes, sir.
Like if you say something on the channel which is not endorsed by your house,
Yes.
and if you again, in spite of that, if you stick to your previous speech, now it's your house decision what they will do against you.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, it's only an issue of 24 hours. That's what I mean to say. Have patience, see what happens in coming few years.
But you have no patience for the BJP. I'm just putting this on record. You're saying have patience, but you didn't show any patience. I'm not favoring the BJP. I've got some questions for Sanju Verma here also. So let's be very honest. I've got some questions also for you, Sanju Verma. You will first, of course, respond to Dr. Sen, and then I have some questions, as I always do. But I just want to say, Dr. Sen, yes, the House will come down on me hard, as you say. Though the House doesn't dictate the line I take, I dictate my own line because I'm the editor-in-chief of the channel and I have to be very responsible. So as a responsible journalist, as much as I can be under the circumstances, I can say with great alacrity here, sir, after examining your statements, that there is an element of duplicity. You're not judging Mahua Moitra with the same yardstick that you have reserved for Nupur Sharma. Why? Why, sir?
You asking me?
Yes, sir.
That might be your purview, but I am not seeing this picture in your using your spectacle.
Okay.
To me, two incidents are different. Our party, once again I repeat, our party in no time responded, and this statement made by Mahua Moitra is not at all endorsed by our party. At the same time, as of now, it has not set the entire country.
Oh, we are waiting for the country to. We are waiting for the country to descend into a ball of flames. You want the Hindus to really come out onto the streets and make the same. And make the same medieval statements that a section of their brothers in another community and sisters in another community are making. That's what you want. You want mayhem. You want the fires to burn before you say, okay, we'll suspend you. That's very irresponsible. Member of Parliament from the TMC says, Dr. Sen says, it hasn't come to it right now. We haven't seen the same explosion. So, hey, wait, man. Hold your horses, Mr. Shiv Shankar. We'll come to it. Let the country burn first. 50 FIRs have been filed, sir. 50 FIRs.
You just cannot put your words in your mouth like this, my dear
Social media is going bonkers.
I have said already it's only 24 hours.
It's only 24 hours. We'll wait. Okay. You said, sir, I didn't say it. You said it hasn't come to that. The country hasn't responded in the same way. That's what you said. I'm not saying it. You're a member of Parliament. I have to be very careful. You'll hold me before the Privileges Committee tomorrow.
It's on one day. Let's see.
Okay.
Just wait to see what TMC does.
Viewers, urgent action is demanded on Nupur Sharma. So much so that the great Supreme Court's justices pronounce her guilty in their haste to douse the flames, without a trial, in observations. But here, time is demanded. Wonder why? I'll leave it to you to think about that. Sanju Verma, first of all, Dr. Sen has said that you, as the BJP, can hardly sit on the moral high horse and dictate to us. You've not even arrested Nupur Sharma in the state of Delhi or in any state where you are ruling. So what's the big deal? Why are you all in a twist? Please.
Rahul, I'll come to your question. On a lighter note, you said you're dumb. If you're dumb, then Dr. Shantanu Sen is Elvis Presley. Now, on a more serious note, I will refrain from commenting on Nupur Sharma because bound by party discipline, I cannot. I'm making that point very clear right at the outset. And I think it's high time that every time there is an incident in the country, this whole narrative about trying to deflect attention away from the perpetrators to BJP, I think that should stop. There have been umpteen debates, a zillion debates for Nupur Sharma and continue to this day. Today the debate is on Mahua Moitra's unacceptable comments, and I will not allow the TMC or anyone on the panel to deflect from the moot point of the debate, We've debated Nupur Sharma. The debate is on Mahua Moitra today. And I just want to say one thing, a couple of quick things actually. Mahua Moitra is a repeat offender. Mahua Moitra is not somebody who has said this statement about Kaali being an alcohol-accepting and meat-accepting goddess, as a standalone statement. Your channel has put out, and I read out the tweet of 24th May 2021, where she says, drink cow urine, sprinkle cow dung, and let the rule of the law get flushed out. Then she says on 3rd February 2022, just before her address to the Lok Sabha, I urge the BJP hecklers to have some Gaumutra shots. Nishikant Dubey, the member of parliament of BJP from Goda in Jharkhand, she calls him a Bihari Gunda. But wait, it does not stop there. She calls another union minister, Giriraj Singh, a Choti Dhari Rakshas, taking a jibe at Brahmins, if you will. So point number one, Mahua Moitra cannot take the moral high ground because she's a repeat offender. I asked the TMC, are you playing good cop, bad cop? Because Mahua Moitra has made racist statements. She's made statements which are, completely, they run foul of the basic grain of the Constitution. And Rahul, I want to also ask the TMC, how have things come to such a pass within the TMC that a member of parliament makes an inflammatory statement, has the audacity to reiterate and reinforce that, completely unfollows the official TMC handle and shows no remorse? I'll tell you why. Give me 20 seconds. 2015, the Malda riots, known as the Kaliachak riots. 2016, Washirhat riots. 2017, Bhaduria riots. 2018, Asansol riots. 2019, Jadavpur riots. 2020, Bhadreshwar riots. 10 seconds. 2021, Sita Kulchi riots. 2022, the Birbhum massacre.
Right.
The point is not who was the perpetrator or who was the victim. In 9 out of 10 cases, in the riots that I just mentioned, these riots happened either because a Ram Navami procession...
No, I'm not going down that. You said that this debate is about Mahua Moitra. We're not going down that route. 1 second. Just no, 1 second. No, 1 second. Out of syllabus questions not allowed. You already said that you're not going to take any of my questions by suggesting that you're here only. Now, this is what Nupur... 1 second. This is what Sanju Verma says. I'm sorry, Ms. Verma, you can't plead exception today. I'm going to ask you also about the inaction on Nupur Sharma. You can't say, oh, I'm hamstrung by party line and, we have debated Nupur Sharma. Let me say, very honestly, viewers, whenever we've had debates on Nupur Sharma, the BJP has absented itself. They threw her under the wheels of a big bus that came from the Gulf, came all the way through, and nothing is left of her. It's parked now somewhere in the Supreme Court, court number 1 or whatever it is, and there you can see the tread that is left of devastation over free speech. Now, I just want to ask you very simply this, Sanju Verma. You are asking for, and you're within your rights to ask for Moitra's arrest. But what about Ms. Sharma? Why hasn't she been arrested by the Delhi police? Because that's what the TMC MP is asking you. Quick response to that, and I want to bring in Dr. Ranganathan, Gargi Nandi Roy, Meeta Chakravarti.
No, I'm very clear. The Delhi police will do what it needs to do.
Okay.
And I also feel that, this whole narrative about Nupur Sharma being thrown under the bus. I mean, what proof do you have that she's been thrown under the bus? If the party has taken a decision where it feels that she spoke something which was not akin to the party discipline, why should somebody else have a problem?
Okay.
Why should you, Rahul Singh,
That's a good point. That's a good point. I take your point. That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a good point. Why should we say yes? That's a fair point. That's a fair point. Why should the BJP and the TMC be accused of throwing Moitra and Nupur under the bus? That's a fair point. There might be others who disagree with you on the panel, but that's in any case, don't go by my, as I said, I'm a dumb person, so don't go by my, my phraseology. Might not always get it right. So I'm just saying that fine, she's not been thrown under the bus, but certainly you have distanced yourselves from their remarks. You have called them fringe. Nupur Sharma, a national spokesperson, much like yourself, was dismissed as a fringe voice. Okay.
Rahul,
You know my views on that, Sanju Verma. I've written a piece on that. I've told you where the BJP went wrong. So I have my views. Nonetheless, let me bring in Dr. Ranganathan. Dr. Ranganathan, you've heard now at some length both party spokespeople. Go ahead.
Yeah, good evening, Rahul. I've been patiently.
May I please request from my fellow panelists a couple of minutes of uninterrupted time? Well, I guess this is comeuppance for Ms. Mahua Moitra, who, under the best of times, is second only to WhatsApp in spreading rumors and lies. Talk of karma boomeranging spectacularly. Because a few weeks ago, she was the one stormtrooping every event and conclave, demanding Nupur Sharma's arrest for offending religious sensibilities. And today she is the one facing arrest for offending religious sensibilities. Thing with this law, Rahul, or 295 or 153 is that you can't reason with it because it is subjective and grey. How can you counter anyone who says, yes, I am a Hindu and I have been hurt by what Mahua said? Because wasn't Mahua hurt by what Nupur merely quoted Islamic scriptures? उनको दुख हुआ तो और किसी को दुख नहीं हो सकता. ये स्टैंड है. ये कैसा लॉजिक है भाई? Two issues here, Rahul, and both merit going into. Number one, the hypocrisy, I tell you, is mind-boggling. In fact, it is institutional. When it comes to Islam, remember how PM Manmohan Singh on the floor of our parliament demanded an apology from Denmark for the Prophet cartoons. Remember how Sonia Gandhi publicly apologized to the Shahi Imam of Jama Masjid. But when it comes to Hinduism, it's a free-for-all. If it isn't the popular discourse, the stand-up comics, the tweets mocking Hinduism, the ads, then it is done by parties like the DMK or TMC or Congress. All those Gaumutra jibes, as Ms. Sanju said, or you're terming Hindu god Parashuram a terrorist and a rapist, celebrating Tipu Jayanti of that mass murderer Tipu. Let's look at Mahua and her party. Let me give you just facts. Did TMC change Ram Dhenu to Wrong Dhenu and Mahua kept quiet? Yes. Did she say Batla encounter was fake? Yes. Did she oppose CAA that brought relief to persecuted Hindus? Yes. Did she appoint a Muslim on Tarkeshwar Temple Board? Yes. Did she provide midday meal dining hall for only those schools having 70% or more minority students? Yes. Did she curtail the time duration traditionally permit for Durga idol immersion to make way for Muharram? Yes. Did she grant 2.6 crores of taxpayers' money to Furfura Sharif? Yes. Did she promise to give land to imams for construction of houses? Yes. Did she pay more than 30,000 imams exclusively, 2,500 per month, and over 15,000 muezzins, 1,500? Yes. Number two, the second issue. Look, as a free speech absolutist, Rahul, and someone who wants 295A scrap, I am not for banning any ads or tweet or arresting Mahua or discourse or any stand-up comic or film that mocks Hinduism or Hindu gods. It'd be a good idea for hypocrites, for like Mahua, to at least acknowledge that, yes, quote, yes, we are mocking Hindu beliefs and Hindu gods because we can. We dare not mock Islam because if we do, we'll be beheaded or killed like Charlie Hebdo journalist or Kamlesh Tiwari. In fact, we are too scared to even support now an alleged blasphemer because even that harmless act of solidarity will get us beheaded like Kanhaiya or Kole. And as for Mahua, now distancing itself from the TMC and vice versa, well, her intellect, I have to be very honest, shines like carbon paper inside a coal mine. She is like that Titanic, launched amid great fanfare by Didi, sailed for 5 days in the calm ecosystem waters, and then encountered the iceberg in the shape of social media.
Well, viewers, and Dr. Ranganathan, you said that she lies. Can you elaborate on this? Because where is the lie?
Well, I'm talking about her antecedents over the last 3 or 4 years.
Okay. I just want that cleared because being a member of parliament, she can haul you before the privileges committee. That's another...
No, I have enough proof for that. I challenge her to do that.
Okay.
I will bring out all her lies in a separate
okay, so you're just to be clear, viewers, because Mahua Moitra is not here, she might take offense to the fact that she's been called a liar. He's referring to a track record where he has proof, he says, about where she is lied. Fair enough. Let's put that out there, viewers. I now want to quickly bring in Meeta Chakravarti and Ms. Gargi Nandi Roy. Meeta Chakravarti, I want to ask you.
I'll come, Rahul.
Yeah. Yes.
Rahul, can I come in?
Yeah, 1 second, madam. Just 1 second. Meeta Chakravarti, for me, Goddess Kaali, says Miss Moitra. Miss Moitra says, for me, Goddess Kaali is a meat-eating and alcohol-accepting goddess. And if you go to Tarapeeth, you will see sadhus smoking. That is a version of Kali people worship there. I, within Hinduism, being a Kali worshipper, have the right to imagine Kali in that way. That is my freedom. First of all, madam, do you support this view, Meeta Chakravarti ji? Do you support this, or do you find it condemnable like the TMC has found it and many Hindus find it today?
Okay, good evening to all your viewers and some uninterrupted time, please, because again, I've been waiting very patiently. Quite a few points, actually.
Firstly, first begin by answering my question, then you can give us the large lecture.
Part of what, so there cannot be any entirely yes or no answer. So you have to give me some time to elaborate, because I partly support her statement and partly oppose it. Okay. And I think I'm well within my rights to do so, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not here as a TMC spokesperson or as Mahua Moitra spokesperson. Also, I want to make it very clear that I'm commenting completely in individual capacity, not representing any party line. So that has to be very clearly communicated to your viewers, right? Now, so going back, we have different religious traditions in different parts of India. It's a fact, and you can counter check with Bengali community across the world. And I say this with a great sense of responsibility that during Kaali Pujo that is conducted during Diwali time, non-veg prasad bhog is served. It's a fact that liquor is served as part of prasad, as part of bhog, and that is consumed after Kaali Puja. Dr. Sen is there, and I think he would possibly agree with it because it is done by different sects within Hinduism. I am a Kali Bhakt as well. I derive Shakti and power from my goddess. Okay. And I do not want anyone to tell me as how I'm going to worship my goddess. So that's number one, a very important distinction which even Dr. Tharoor tried to make, that we have different ways of interpreting Hinduism. There is no one standard uniform template of Hinduism that applies to all.
Okay.
The way I worship my goddess, I take it as a personal insult to Goddess Kaali today, because I am being questioned of a religious tradition that has been going on in Bengal for generations.
Okay.
It is not something that is being done today. And if I may quote, and I can do it with evidence, that there are Bengali communities across the world which serve non-veg and liquor as part of bhog during Kaali Puja and is not looked down upon. So number one point that. Number two, Ms. Moitra, I have not followed what she has said on the India Today conclave. I'm purely going by what she has tweeted. She has said that she has not supported any movie or any creative poster. So I have no way of finding out of whether she did support or she did not. I think any freedom of expression cannot be absolute. There has to be boundaries.
So has she crossed the boundaries?
So she is clearly saying that she is not supporting the poster.
No.
She's
so Ms. Chakravarti, I'm only asking you.
She is not supporting the creatives.
Look, 1 second.
By stating that non-veg and liquor is served during Kaali Puja, she is just making a factual statement, number one. Number two, there are different traditions in different parts of India.
So I'm only asking you.
Allow us to celebrate our uniqueness.
Ms. Chakravarti.
Allow us to celebrate our differences.
Okay, 1 second.
Make us
stop shouting. Calm down.
Template.
Why are you shouting?
Yes.
No one is under attack here. Calm down. Don't have to get hysterical. Calm down. Relax. Thanda karo. Be calm.
Okay.
It's okay.
Okay.
You don't have to run out into the street with your microphone.
Yes,
calm down. We can hear you.
Point taken. Point taken.
Yes.
Please go ahead.
Dr. Ranganathan is pointing furiously at the camera. Yes. Yes. Doctor.
Rahul, just 30 seconds. Number one, because you asked me very politely that I challenged Ms. Mahua Moitra, and I said that she's second only to WhatsApp in spreading rumors and lies, and you said, do you have a account of that? And I said, yes, in the next program, or whenever I can bring those live. I want to tell you just one of the lies busted, where she accused President Kovind of inaugurating or launching Subhash Chandra Bose's portrait, saying that it was actually an actor. So that was a complete lie that was busted. So it's just one of possibly hundreds of lies of Mahua Moitra, and I've just exposed that lie. Secondly, a very simple question to Miss Meeta.
Okay.
She is well within her rights. Well within her rights, Meeta ji, to say that what Mahua said, I support. But likewise, you are a woman. You know how much Nupur is suffering. Yes. Why can't you say, challenge those accusing her of blasphemy to say, why don't you quote what Nupur quoted, the Islamic scriptures? There you won't help Nupur, but you would help Mahua. Why? Why this discrimination, madam?
Can I answer that?
Yeah, please.
Yes, Rahul, can I come in now? Please. Yes.
Yeah, just 1 second, madam. Coming to you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have come on your show, Rahul, and I've said that as a woman co-panelist, I'm worried about the security threats that are being given to Nupur Sharma and her family. I have no knowledge about Islamic scriptures. I'll be very honest. I'm not the right person to comment on it. I have knowledge about my religion. I'm a very proud Bengali Hindu. I'm a very proud Kaali Ma Bhakt. Okay? So I can only comment on that. But as far as Nupur Sharma getting all those horrible death threats and rape threats, I completely stand against that. If law has to take its own course, as a woman co-panelist, I would want safety and security ensured for her and her family.
Are you satisfied, Dr. Ranganathan, with that response? Because there is a certain... There is a certain...
Yes. No, I am, and I respect what Meeta ji has said. I would say, if I'm being honest, I'm partly, maybe substantially satisfied, because she said, look, I'm ignorant about Islamic scriptures. But the fact is, you could at least ask those, Meeta ji, ask those accusing Nupur to say, on what account are you saying she has blasphemed when she has just quoted Islamic? So, but any case, if you don't want to do that, your neck will be on the line. I don't blame you at all. But I must say, I admit, I am substantially satisfied by your reply. Thank you.
You see, the question was very direct. 1 second. The question was very direct. Why don't you ask those people who are outraging today and issuing death threats to substantiate on whether Nupur is wrong on facts? That question, viewers, people are hesitating to ask in this country.
Yes.
Now, let's not go down that route. I just want to come back.
Yes.
Gargi Nandi Roy, you see, there are some people who stand up for Mahua Moitra, not her party. Let me tell you that. Ms. Chakravarti says that she worships goddess Kaali, but her party has said, sorry, condemnable remarks, strongly condemn such comments.
I am only commenting in individual capacity. I made it very clear.
No, I know. Then are you upset? One second, Ms. Chakravarti, are you upset that the TMC has condemned her?
I'm not sure why TMC is actually distancing. Which part? If TMC feels that Mahua Moitra had supported the movie poster, which I
no, let's not. Don't give them fig leaves here.
There are two parts.
No, 1 second, Meeta Chakravarti. There is nothing. No, 1 second. They have said the comments made. There are no 3 parts, 2 parts. You're being.
Let me give her the answer.
1 minute, Miss Roy. 1 second. We have time. We're not running away. Miss Chakravarti. You know what they have responded to, the same tweet that you are responding to, they have responded to, and they said highly condemnable. Okay, so there's no ambiguity here. You may choose this part of that or that part of that and give us a fence-sitting response. That's fine. We accept that. There's nothing wrong with that. But you're just a fence-sitter in this debate, which is fine. That's okay.
Hello.
And you know, because the next question would have been, had you agreed with the TMC, I would have said, why then will you not condemn the Congress party? So you have taken the easy way out, taken the middle path, and quietly moved out of this. 1 second. Now let me bring in Ms. Gargi Roy. Gargi Roy, you've heard the TMC spokespersons, you've heard the Member of Parliament, you have heard others through the day. Why are they not arresting Mahua Moitra despite condemning her?
I'll come, Rahul, I'll give an answer to Meeta also, that I'm also very proud Bengali Hindu. And yes, you know why TMC has been today compelled to condemn it? Because Mahua Moitra in the past also, you know how she demeaned Lord Shiva, and TMC never said anything. In fact, you know, TMC, if you remember, they rewarded the other person, Shayani Ghosh, who made a very dirty cartoon of Lord Shiva. She was given an election ticket, given a big post. Yes. So by doing that, the TMC party has emboldened the likes of Mahua Moitra, and these people representing an ecosystem has mastered the art of hypocrisy, because they know we Hindus are seekers. We believe in Aham Brahmasmi, Tattvamasi. We will not go with swords. Maybe some FIR can be registered, but even our feelings can get hurt. So that's why they can say anything to grab the headline. They will hurt Hindu sentiments. And now TMC is condemning. You know why? Because today Mamata Banerjee has the aspiration of becoming the PM. So she does not want to offend the Hindus across the country. That's why now they have condemned. They never did it in the past. And here Mahua Moitra is also playing a regional card. I'll tell you, last year, you remember during the election campaign, there was regional chauvinism, there was Bengali supremacism. They were trying to differentiate Bengali Hindus with the other Hindus of other parts of the country. So here also Mita hinted that Bengali Hindus, they wanted to show superior. So since Bengalis eat non-veg, so somehow they want to make that difference. They want to wage a difference between Hindus also now. Please don't do that. Goddess Kaali is the fiercest of goddesses. Rahul, tell her that she represents, you know, that life, death, and even birth, rebirth, and liberation. Kaali is that energy within us that is wild and empowered and all-loving. And that is the Swat which represents a life, death, and life force. It helps us in growing and transforming. So that is the energy of Kaali. She has spoken about certain rituals. Not everywhere alcohol and meat is served. Let me correct you. Maybe in some specific places. Because this Shakti Puja, there are different. Sanatan is very huge.
Ms. Chakravarti, she didn't speak over you. Give her the space, please.
Because Kaali has a yakshini, and remember, Kaali has a yakshini. Yakshini do hai, so the offer of alcohol and meat, that doesn't mean across the country that is offered as prasad. No, I go to Kali Puja here, there is khichdi bhog. No meat and alcohol is served. So in specific places, some rituals, some tantric rituals are followed.
Anyhow,
there it is done.
So you're saying that it is an element of self-preservation that has led the TMC expediently to condemn Mahua Moitra. It's a political intervention. Okay.
Eat. That's what she wanted to represent.
Okay, Mr. Das, and I want to bring in Sanju Verma right after. I'm bringing Sanju Verma in. Let Mr. Das have a point. Yes, Mr. Das, yes. Please respond to Ms. Roy. She says political expediency. That's all. It's not that you feel anything from your heart. You just don't want to upset Hindus in the larger subcontinent because you believe that you have national aspirations, and therefore, but at the same time, you've also emboldened the likes of Mahua Moitra. Please respond to that, Mr. Das.
See, I am not here representing anyone's statement.
Yeah.
So who said what, I will not speak upon that. But what I can say is that I belong to a family. I belong to the Sebayat family of Kalighat temple, one of the oldest temples, Shakti Peeth of India.
Yes.
I am a family member of that family. And from my point of view, from my understanding of Goddess Kaali, I see nothing wrong in what Mahua Moitra have said.
Okay, so do you think that TMC then... So then let me ask you...
Mahua Moitra, I do not represent TMC. First of all,
I want to ask you, you must have a view at least.
Dr.
Mr. Das, you must have a view.
TMC.
No, 1 second, but you must have a view as a political analyst. Can I ask you then... Can I ask you then?
Political analyst, and at the same time,
I'm not asking you to defend the TMC. I'm only asking you to tell me.
No. Yes.
Can you answer?
From my point of view,
yes.
If Mahua Moitra's statement, please, I am the last one to speak today. Please give me time.
Yes.
Have the patience to listen.
I'm listening.
If Mahua Moitra's statement is wrong, then whatever Ramakrishna Paramahansa has taught us is wrong. Whatever Vivekananda has taught us is wrong. Whatever we have learned from Ram Prasad's song is wrong. Everything that we have learned through our centuries of learning, everything is wrong. Not everything cannot be wrong. The land, the culture of the land, you are hurting the ethos, the culture and the religious sentiments of Bengalis.
Okay.
Don't do that.
You are.
Our mother is very close to us.
TMC.
Our mother is the
Is
mother
TMC
of
doing that?
single
Because they are the ones who've condemned her.
The downtrodden.
So are you saying, Mr. Das, the TMC has done this because they've condemned?
Whosoever
So,
is oppressed,
okay, Mr. Das.
downtrodden, marginalized.
Okay, 1 second, Mr. Das. Mr. Das, 1 minute, calm down.
Of every being.
If that is the case,
don't bind Mother Goddess
okay.
into your narrow understanding.
Oh gosh,
don't bind
Mamata Banerjee, you're getting a lesson from Mr. Das. You're getting a lesson, Mamata Banerjee. Listen, Dr. Sen, listen to Mr. Das. Look what he's saying to you. You are making the religion, Dr. Sen, into some monastic order, almost. You've turned the entire essence on its head, the TMC, by condemning. Can you believe it, viewers? We have two concerned Hindus, Chakravarti and Das, who are saying, what is the TMC doing? So I'm asking you, sir, Dr. Sen, why are you condemning poor Mahua Moitra? Why? What are you doing to the religion?
Let me answer your question first of all. While representing one of the most secular political parties, Trinamool Congress, I must let you all know what is happening in Udaipur, what is happening in
No, forget Udaipur. I'm asking you, Dr. Sen, why today are you taking action? Mr. Das is upset. Ms. Chakravarti is upset. She said that you have no reason to throw.
Rahul, let me finish.
No, please tell me, doctor, please tell me. Please tell me, do you agree with Mr. Sen?
And people is watching what is happening to the Hindu Pandits in Kashmir. I would like to tell you one thing.
Okay.
One of the biggest festivals of Hindus, that is Durga Puja, that has been highlighted internationally by Trinamool Congress run.
That's wonderful. But Dr. Sen, Mr. Das and Ms. Chakravarti are accusing you of...
Rahul, here I want to come.
No, 1 minute. Even Ms. Roy, Ms. Das and Mr. Das and Chakravarti, all three are saying that you've done injustice by Mahua Moitra. I'm asking you, why are you doing this to Mahua Moitra? Why have you done this?
That might be their personal prerogatives. That might be their personal perceptions.
Okay, but you have actually condemned Ms. Moitra, and they're upset. Your Bengali colleagues are upset.
That might be their personal perception.
Okay, so wonder why would you go out of your way? Ma Mati Manush, viewers, is the slogan of Mamata Banerjee. Manush, Bengali Manush. Why is she going out of the way? Okay, let me get the BJP into this. Sanju Verma and last word from Dr. Yes, Sanju Verma. Yes.
Rahul,
yeah.
You know, and I will make a very quick point, and I don't want to be interrupted. I'm a proud Hindu as well. I want to first say that, you know, when the political analyst, Ms. Chakravarti, she says I'm saying whatever I'm saying in my individual capacity. She says things in her individual capacity, but she fought an election on a Congress ticket. Her loyalties lie with Shashi Tharoor and co. Let that be very clear. Please stop saying she's only a political analyst. She's a Congress sympathizer. Point number one. Point number two. Yes, in some places, wine, meat is offered to Goddess Kaali, but I want to tell one thing. I want to educate Meeta Chakravarti and her likes, the likes of Mahua. You know, what is it that Mahishasur told Goddess Kaali after he was destroyed? And this is written in Hindu scriptures.
Okay.
He said, every Atma belongs to you. You have killed me and my soul. It is now up to you to look after my needs. So people say that the wine and meat which is offered.
Okay, look, Ms. Verma, I don't even pretend to be an authority on any religious scriptures.
Can I please finish?
But Ms. Verma, why are we dragging in? Okay, please finish what you're saying. Okay, finish. No, please finish. Please finish.
The bhog which is offered in some places, not everywhere, yes. Does it consist of wine and meat in some places as an offering? Yes, but that offering is not meant for Goddess Kaali. Anybody who follows Hinduism very, very proficiently knows that bhog is actually for Mahishasur. That bhog is for the Yakshin. That bhog is for the Rakshasa. That bhog is for the Bhuta. That bhog is for the Pishata, who are the associates of
Okay, look, again we are getting into theological, lower everyone's fader. Again we are getting into theological issue. That's not the point of this debate, viewers. I'm only looking at, and I began by saying, and let me reiterate. You see, Ms. Chakravarti went into theology. Mr. Das went into theology. Ms. Roy also went into the distinction between this, that, the other. And I began very humbly, because I'm a little dumb. I began by saying, viewers, let's not get confused. The debate over Mahua Moitra's comment tonight is less about what she said, but the hypocrisy of her stand and, of course, the expediency of the TMC or the Trinamool Congress. So I come back to my first paragraph. These people are very clever, viewers. They're very clever. I'm a simpleton. They're very, very clever. They want to take us down all. You see, Nupur Sharma never got the benefit of this kind of debate, where 5 people stood and spoke about the different faiths, traditions, views, this, that. No one talked about that. Here, for Mahua Moitra, proud Hindus will provide a lot of cover. On the other side, didn't hear this. Didn't hear this. And that, viewers, is a matter of concern. Yes, Dr. Ranganathan.
DC Rahul, I just, less than 30 seconds. You see, it is an accepted psychological or psychiatric assessment that the only people who are hated more than liars are actually hypocrites. I'm telling you, I've written on this. That's a fact. People hate hypocrites more than they hate liars. Now, the good political analyst, Mr. Siddhartha Das, is quite right in defending Mahua Moitra. He has brought out theology, he has brought out traditions, and he's also said, like Meeta Chakrabarti, that if Mahua is wrong, then all our religious other leaders, Vivekananda is wrong, then our Hindu traditions are wrong, then Ramakrishna Paramahansa. That is not the problem. The issue is, will he also, like Meeta Chakrabarti ji, shirk away from saying what is a fact? Will he also say that if Nupur Sharma is wrong, then Islamic scriptures are wrong, then hadiths are wrong? Does he have the guts to say this? Hypocrites.
Right.
No, no one will. And that's why I said, viewers, we Hindus are very open.
I want to answer to
No,
Mr.
one
Das.
second.
You let me.
No, one second. I don't speak for any religion here, viewers. But this is what we are told. We are told that Hindus are very open, they're different strands, they're different thoughts, they're different ideas, and we can express them and have a logical debate on even whether Mahua Moitra is right or wrong. And that should be celebrated, because we are still a democracy in an open, secular, progressive society, where we question, where we inquire. But viewers, as I said, I began by saying, this is not a debate about our scriptures, about the rights and the wrongs. This is really about hypocrisy. And Ms. Chakravarti has exposed herself as a hypocrite today. Didn't take a stand. She didn't address the question, viewers. She didn't address the question about why are there 2 different stands being taken by the TMC, one on Nupur and one on Moitra. Why? Why aren't both being arrested? None of that came in. None of that came in. Motherhood statements have come in. Anyhow, I leave it at that, viewers. You heard it. And the less said about Mr. Das. Mr. Das gave us a whole theological history, condemned, but not condemned the TMC. That, he said, well, you see, I don't speak for the TMC, so I don't have a view on the TMC, but he's a political analyst. Now he's become a spiritual analyst. He's given us the whole gyan, but not called out what the real problem is. And I had to extend the logic by saying, gosh, the TMC has made a big mistake. Mr. Das and Ms. Chakravarti are upset. Ms. Roy is upset. Sanju Verma is upset. Dr. Ranganathan are upset. And at last count, they're all good Hindus, except for one, who's an atheist, Dr. Ranganathan, atheist. So, yeah, so four Hindus are upset with the TMC. The TMC is trying to please them, and they're not seeing it that way. So obviously there's some expediency at work, but no one's going to answer or get to that point. Viewers, in the meantime, I want to wrap out of this, and I want to very quickly take up in very 30 seconds with Pranesh Roy from the News Pit. Small story that we broke earlier today. Viewers, whether it is Udaipur, whether it is Bhojpur or Amravati, we have an issue, viewers. We have a big issue. We have some sort of a cover-up going on. That is what we are being told. Now, Pranesh, What is this cover-up? Can you explain to the viewers the bare knuckles of this story without editorializing? Just the bare knuckles. What is this story that we are seeing on our screens?
Goes on a hate rant, promises to give his house up for sale and says the money that I get from that will be amount of bounty if you chop off Nupur Sharma's head. If you get me her head. This tape went viral. In 3 days, the Rajasthan police finally got itself to arrest this man. And today, on camera, a Rajasthan policeman, the CO, the circle officer, who's a high-ranking officer, Rahul, is on record tutoring this man. He says, "Kaho कि तुम नशे में थे ताकि बचा लें." I am not saying it. It is the policeman saying it. You can play the tape, and then we've got him on phone. We confronted him.
Okay, let's play the tape. Let's play the tape. So you're saying that on tape, Sandeep Saraswat, the senior police official, is telling Salman Chishti that if you plead to being intoxicated, you will be saved for making those dreadful comments, putting a bounty on Nupur's head. Okay, let's play that out, that sequence.
हमारा मोटिव इतना ही था सिर्फ इसमें कि वहाँ क्या है कि ये सेल्फ हार्म ना करे, मानसिक रोगी भी है, इसको बाइपोलर डिसऑर्डर बताया घर वालों ने जी, और ये क्या नशेड़ी भी है, ये ऊपर से ड्रामे भी कर रहा था, जैसे इसकी कई मंजिलों का घर है और संकड़ा मोहल्ला है, बिल्कुल खादी मोहल्ला में जी जी जी। तो वहाँ से यार मुलजिम को 1:30 बजे नशे में था ताकि बताओ पीछे वो लग रही है, वो पीछे वो लग रही है, ये नशे में था ताकि बताओ पीछे वो लग रही है, वो पीछे वो लग रही है, ये नशे में था ताकि बताओ पीछे वो लग रही है, वो पीछे वो लग रही है, ये नशे में था ताकि बताओ पीछे वो लग रही है, वो पीछे वो लग रही है, ये नशे में था ताकि बताओ पीछे वो लग रही है,
Okay, so Pranesh, this is what you're talking about. The policeman comes and pats this abomination on his right shoulder and says that if you plead that you were intoxicated, then you might get away. That's what you're saying.
That's right, but it does not end here. Anubhav Khandelwal, our special correspondent, confronted this cop and asked him direct questions, and he accepts, yes, I did so, and now we are learning that Gehlot government will take action against him. We can play out that phone conversation.
Okay. Let's play it out. What compelled him to do so? But let's first listen to him.
हमारा मोटिव इतना ही था सिर्फ इसमें कि वहाँ क्या है कि ये सेल्फ हार्म ना करे, मानसिक रोगी भी है, इसको बाइपोलर डिसऑर्डर बताया घर वालों ने जी, और ये क्या नशेड़ी भी है, ये ऊपर से ड्रामे भी कर रहा था, जैसे इसकी कई मंजिलों का घर है और संकड़ा मोहल्ला है, बिल्कुल खादी मोहल्ला में जी जी जी। तो वहाँ से यार मुलजिम को 1:30 बजे रात को लाना, हमें कोई अप्रिशिएट करने की बजाय मतलब वही है कि ये सुनने का, क्योंकि क्या है कि आपको पता है कि घर वालों के सामने हमें ऐसे करना पड़ता है शो कि हाँ हम इसके साथ हैं। अब हमारा कोई ऐसा इंटेंशन होता, मुकदमे दर्ज नहीं करते ना, 2 दिन से इसकी तलाश में, मैं तो 2 रात से घर नहीं गया, छोटी 1.5 साल की बच्ची है मेरे को करियर को बर्बाद कराएंगे ये बिना बात के
जी 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 जी। तो पर सर आपने उसको मुजरिम को किस वजह से मतलब वो बोला था कि
उसमें क्या है कि उस टाइम भीड़ में घेर रखा था मैं जी, और हमारा ये था कि भीड़ की क्या सिंपैथी रहे कि ये साला इसको लाने दे आराम से थाने, ये क्या पहले भी दीवार पे सिर मार चुका है 2-3 बार। अब ये क्या पुलिस कस्टडी में मान लो कि कुछ हो जाए और है कि ये कुछ इस तरह का कर ले कि मेरे को तो पुलिस बड़ा लंबा टांगेगी, तो हमने क्या यहाँ से भी जैसे पहले टीम भेजी थी ना, तब इसके घर वालों को वो करवाया था हमने कि यार हम कोई नुकसान नहीं करेंगे, कोई मारपीट नहीं करेंगे उसके साथ, उनको ये था कि पुलिस जाती पीटेगी जी। तो इस चक्कर में क्या है हमारा तो मतलब वो बोलना क्या है कि एक वो स्ट्रेटेजी का पार्ट होता है कि मुलजिम को येन केन प्रकरण होता है ना भाई, हुक और क्रुक लाना है जी, क्योंकि ऊपर से भी लगातार फोन में, तो रात को 1:30 बजे तक अब अगर हम थाने बैठे 3 बजे तो मैं मतलब घर गया हूँ कल।
Okay, so we heard now the police confirming that it actually goaded this individual and in a sense did so to provide him an alibi. Now Pranesh, many people are saying, especially the BJP, that there is a pattern here. Can you elaborate?
The pattern that the BJP is talking about is what happened in Amravati. In Maharashtra, the Aghadi government that was in power then, when Umesh Kolhe was killed in cold blood, that hate attack was denied. It took the police, the Amravati police under Aghadi government 5 days to come out with facts, and they confirmed on Times Now. The police chief went on record on Times Now. The BJP is also talking about the letter written by Kanhaiya Lal just days before his beheading. In the letter, Kanhaiya Lal said in as many words, and I am quoting Rahul, "Meri jaan le lenge wo log." Despite that, no security was given. In fact, he was arrested on someone else's complaint.
So what you're saying is that first, a murder which was born out of hatred was explained away in the initial stages as some sort of robbery attempt, number one. Then you said that Kanhaiya Lal, who wanted security because he knew he had received death threats, was not given security, and now an alibi is being provided to a person who on camera has announced a bounty for Nupur said. Is this appeasement, viewers? I don't know. The BJP suggests the Gehlot government is now very upset. It said it's going to act against this policeman. But viewers, people will continue to ask, why would a policeman make this statement? Was he under pressure to do so? And how can the Congress explain away the other attempts at covering up what was clear bigotry directed at certain individuals? Why would they do that, viewers? I leave it with you to ponder. News are coming up. Don't go away.
You know, we have a difficult relationship with China. We're perfectly capable of managing it. Somewhere Europe has to grow out of the mindset that Europe's problems are the world's problems, but the world's problems are not Europe's problems. If I were to take Europe collectively, which has been singularly silent on many things which were happening, for example in Asia, you could ask why would anybody in Asia trust Europe on anything at all? Look, a lot of things are happening outside Europe. We have, partly because of climate change, for a lot of humanitarian, natural disasters, humanitarian responses. In our part of the world today, a lot of people look to us to help out. The days when they expected Europe to come, which Europe did at the 2004 tsunami. The difference today is nobody's even thinking of that anymore. So the world is changing, new players are coming, new capabilities are coming, but a new agenda must come. The world cannot be that Eurocentric as it used to be in the past. You know, we have a difficult relationship with China. We're perfectly capable of managing it. It's if I get global.
The most pressing issues, the most informed minds, free and fair exchange. Converse India with Rahul Shivshankar.
आज फ्रैंकली स्पीकिंग पर मेरे साथ जुड़ रहे हैं केरला के गवर्नर आरिफ मोहम्मद खान साहब। खान साहब को कौन नहीं जानता, और ना सिर्फ उर्दू पर इस्लाम पे इनकी इतनी पकड़ है, इतने पढ़े लिखे और इतनी बातें जो हमें बताते हैं वो इस्लाम के करेक्ट इंटरप्रिटेशन की बताते हैं। आरिफ मोहम्मद खान साहब, मैं सबसे पहले आपसे पूछना चाहती हूं कि इस वक्त देश एक सदमे में है। 28 जून को जो हमने उदयपुर में होते हुए देखा, इसे आप क्या कहेंगे? विचारधारा की उपज है, ये घृणा का कार्य, इसका लक्ष्य क्या है? किसी को कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा, क्योंकि ऐसा लगता है कॉन्शियंस पे, हम सब की कॉन्शियंस पे एक भारी बोझ है।
जी, इसको Krishna, Mamata Banerjee, an ardent devotee of Ma Kaali. Not a single year that rolls over without Kaali Puja happening at her house. She reposes deep faith in the goddess. She believes that goddess Kaali controls her from the background. But yesterday, her most revered goddess was insulted by her own lieutenant. Now, Mahua Moitra is now facing ire for her statements against Ma Kaali, and Didi is facing her biggest test. Mahua Moitra has said that Kaali is a meat-eating and alcohol-accepting. This was yesterday. Within hours, the TMC was quick to distance itself from the MP's comments. 24 hours later, Mamata Banerjee is silent. No FIR has been filed, but Mahua faces 50 other complaints. The BJP is completely riled up. Not just because a Hindu deity was denigrated, but also because just a week back, Mamata Banerjee lashed out at Nupur Sharma. Mamata Banerjee went all guns blazing then, but now, when one of her own lieutenants has stoked a similar controversy, and that too against the goddess that Mamata rests her faith in, there's absolute silence. The BJP has hit the streets demanding Mahua Moitra's arrest. Listen in.
इतना घटिया शब्द हमारी हिंदू और जो सनातन सेंटीमेंट है उसके ऊपर सीधा सीधा असर हुआ है। बंगाल का हर घर में देवी माँ काली को पूजन होता है। इसका खिलाफ कानूनी तरीके से कार्रवाई होना चाहिए। नहीं होगा तो शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से ध्वज लेकर महाकाली जी का तस्वीर और प्रतिमा लेकर, मूर्ति लेकर एजिटेशन भी होगा शांतिपूर्ण तरीके से।
तृणमूल कांग्रेस अपने और से महुआ मोइत्रा की स्टेटमेंट से खुद को अपार्ट नहीं कर सकती। अगर सचमुच में तृणमूल कांग्रेस इसको नहीं मानती है तो उनको चाहिए कि उनके खिलाफ कुछ ना कुछ स्टेप लिया जाए, उनको कुछ ना उसको पार्टी से निकाला जाए या सस्पेंड किया जाए कुछ दिनों के लिए। नुपुर शर्मा के साथ हमने क्या किया वो आपने देखा।
यह ओनली बहुबाजार थाना में अलोंग विथ मी 55 कंप्लेन लॉन्च किया है और ऑल ओवर वेस्ट बंगाल में हम लोगों को ईच एंड एवरी थाना में कंप्लेन होगा महिला मोर्चा की तरफ से।
Now, while the party itself has refused to stand by its Member of Parliament, Congress Member of Parliament, Shashi Tharoor jumped to defend her, asking for religion to be kept out. Now, that's interesting, not just because this is the first time that Mahua Moitra has courted controversy, from mocking Hindu customs to mocking the Chief Justice and most recently mockery on the shivling-like structure that was found in the Gyanvapi complex. The TMC MP is known to not mince any words. So the legitimate question that I want to ask on the Newshour is this. Didi blasts Nupur but is soft on Mahua. And for more on the controversy surrounding the film Kaali and the poster that was put up, I have with me Ranveer Shore, who's a noted actor. Ranveer, thanks so much for joining us. You're a renowned Bollywood personality. So I'm going to begin with the film itself before I get into the larger controversy surrounding it. Ranveer, now there are many who believe that the film or the filmmaker of Kaali has crossed a line. Where do you stand on this? Is this where an artistic creative freedom that should be allowed comes in, or do you think that all art, just as freedom of speech, should have certain amount of reasonable restrictions?
Well, I would ideally like our society to be, completely free, and art and expression should be allowed without conditions. But I think the kind of society we live in, where we have such a diverse kind of values as far as religious sentiments go, I think we need some laws to be able to kind of aggregate those values and have some restrictions. As far as the case of this particular film is concerned, see, I mean, if it was an image which was in the film in passing, I would still give it the benefit of doubt. But the fact that, you know, this is the poster and they're leading with this image can't help to make you feel that this is a desperate attempt at, you know, trying to grab attention, which it is getting now.
Right. But do you feel that there is also an element within the film fraternity that sort of takes liberties only with one religion, that is Hinduism?
That's not just the film fraternity. I think generally liberal Hindus, you know, have been exposing their hypocrisy quite a bit in recent times by not applying the same standard to their own religion that they apply to other religions. And that makes one question this whole thing about, you know, being able to call yourself a Hindu as a liberal Hindu and saying that, you know, I'm okay with this. I mean, you are not speaking for the group. So if you are not speaking for the group, how are you part of the group? Tomorrow you can turn around and say, I'm very liberal and I want to wear footwear in temples. That is, you know, that is my belief. That's not going to go down. Nobody's going to swallow that, right?
Right.
So again, when you're talking about deities like that, I mean, yes, the Hinduism being liberal allows variations, interpretations, but there are limits to that, right?
Absolutely.
You can't just say anything that, no, I am a liberal Hindu and I think this is okay. That deity is not yours alone. It belongs to a group, and you have to take into account the feelings of everyone involved.
And you know, what's very interesting, Ranveer, is that Leena Manimekle says that the responses to the film, those objecting to the film, all of that is coming out of bigotry. How would you respond to such a comment of Leena Manimekle?
This is, I mean, these are standard, you know, these are standard lines which I think people like her have just, you know, learned, and they keep rattling them out whenever, like I said, you know, because Hinduism is liberal, what these liberals do is they try to pass off their own interests and agendas as being part of the group. And one needs to watch out for that.
Right.
You know, because in the garb of being liberal Hindus, they are actually passing off what they want to do and saying that you know, the religion allows it, where the entire group knows that it doesn't.
Right, right. Also, if I can just bring you to the political controversy now surrounding this that has come out of this entire film, and it's related to the issue that we're talking about. We have a situation where a member of parliament of the TMC, that's Mahua Moitra, has come out and said that goddess Kaali is a meat-eating and alcohol-accepting goddess, and now we're looking at a situation where BJP wants cases filed against her. Now, where do you stand on this? Because one aspect is of the creative freedom and the creative license of a filmmaker, but when it comes to the realm of politics, you know, there's an entirely different aspect that we're talking about over here. How do you see this?
Like you mentioned filmmakers earlier, I told you it's not just filmmakers. It's politicians, intellectuals, academics. There is a section who work under the umbrella of being liberal Hindus who are actually, you know, hacking the very tree which has helped them bloom. You know, it's the liberalism which Hinduism gives you that has let you blossom into this person that you are, and now you are hacking on that very tree by not applying the same standards that you apply to other religions. You know, in terms of free speech, freedom of expression. So I'm saying that hypocrisy has started to show now, and everybody needs to think about what to do.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think you're absolutely right when you say that Hinduism allows for multiple interpretations. It's not a dogmatic faith of, you know, do's and don'ts and strict black and white in that sense. But, you know, many are there who say that all of this is going to have a very chilling effect on free speech, and because it will become very difficult to say anything about religion.
I don't know. I mean, I think as a society, like I said, because we are such a diverse society and, you know, and have different intensity of reactions to things about our religion, our laws need to aggregate that, I said, you know, to obviously we can't be an absolute, absolutely free society when you have sections of society which are just not okay with talking about something or saying something. So obviously that is out of the window. And then if it's short of that, then we need to have reasonable laws which reflect our own values of the population, of the people, and have laws which aggregate those and then apply them equally, not selectively on one side or the other.
Thank you so much, Ranveer Shori, for taking the time out to speak to us here.
Thank you for inviting me. Thank you.
You're watching the News Hour at 9. Debate number 1 on Times Now. Super Prime Time.
Let's take this across to our guest now. Joining us with us is Abhijit Iyer Mitra. He's a political analyst. Shehzad Poonawala, national spokesperson of the BJP, is also with us. Rahul Ishwar, author, is with us. We have Tehseen Poonawala, political analyst. With us also is Anirban Banerjee, political analyst. But let me begin straight out with the spokesperson of the TMC, Mr. Biswajit Deb, is with us. Mr. Biswajit Deb, you heard all the comments. It's all out there. The BJP is saying that this kind of action, distancing from the member of parliament is not enough. There needs to be stronger action on part of the TMC to show that it is serious as far as Mahua Moitra and the comments that she has made, which they believe are extremely offensive to Hindus. Your response to that, sir?
All India Trinamool Congress has categorically made a statement that we condemn such particular statements made by the Honorable MP. This statement was made by her in her personal capacity, and we do not support such statements. Our leader Mamata Banerjee always says that TMC stands for temple, mosque and church, and we believe and respect all religions are equal, and we respect each and every religion. But the question is, you see, Mahua Moitra has categorically said that she does not support any film or any poster, or she has never used the word smoking, and she has made a categorical statement to that particular effect. But you see the other side, Nupur Sharma, what she did, and she was not at all apologetic, and she is moving around in spite of FIRs being filed against her throughout the country. Even the Supreme Court has said that her loose tongue has set the entire country on fire. She should have surrendered before the law, but she didn't did that because she has the support. 1 minute. She has the support of Modi government. She has the support. And I would like to say one thing, that BJP projects themselves as the messiah of the Hindus. What were their party doing and their government doing when the Hindus were being killed in Udaipur by their supporters?
So what was that? You've made many points. So there's limited time. Let me go one by one to the points that you have made. And before I go across to the BJP spokesperson, we can put those questions across to the BJP. But my simple question to you, Mr. Dev, is this: that you expect the BJP in the case of Nupur Sharma to take action, and you may have every reason to believe so. But if that is the case, that Nupur Sharma has offended the religious sentiments of one group, then, and if Mahua Moitra, the BJP says, has offended the religious sentiments of another group, then why not take similar action? There can't be a different yardstick for both, can there?
I understand what you are saying. We have already made a categorical statement that we do not support Mahua Moitra's statement, and TMC condemns that. We have made it very clear. But no. But I would like to say, what did Nupur Sharma do? She has set the entire country on fire. This is not our statement. This is a statement made by the Supreme Court of the country. She should respect that. And she should surrender before the law. This she is not doing because she has got the support of the present Modi government. That is her support.
Let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra on that note. Abhijit Iyer Mitra, is there an equivalence to be drawn over here between what Nupur Sharma has said and what Mahua Moitra has said? Are there radically different statements in the manner in which the TMC spokesperson is presenting his arguments? Your response, Abhijit?
No, they're not really radically different. They're both statements of fact, because remember, Nupur Sharma was quoting from a holy book, almost verbatim quote. Therein lies the problem. Now, I have to say that BJP has been remarkably consistent on this. They've condemned Nupur Sharma and they've condemned Mahua Moitra. The TMC, on the other hand, has only condemned Mahua Moitra this time. There is also a tweet from their youth wing president which puts a condom on a Shivalinga. Where were they at that point of time? I can show you the tweet right now if you want. They're absolutely quiet on that. Okay, and Mahua has said lots of things before also. Do you remember when she compared the Shivalinga to a atomic reactor and whatnot, saying this is also a Shivalinga? So at least to be thankful, I mean, nobody's supporting freedom of speech. Ultimately, you know, it turns out that left or right, the average Indian is screwed. We will never enjoy freedom of speech in this country.
Let's be a little mindful of the language we're using on national television. But let me put that question across to Mr. Deb. Mr. Deb, simple question that is being put across by the political analyst here, Mr. Abhijit Mitra, is that often we have seen statements that are offensive to Hindus that have come out from leaders of the TMC, and perhaps it's not restricted to the TMC, but perhaps if action was taken earlier, even to the statements that were made by Mahua Moitra in context of Gyanvapi and several other issues that the country has been facing, perhaps we would not have reached this pass.
I do not agree. I'm sorry to say I do not agree with his statements, but I would like to say one thing, that the divisive politics of BJP has never been supported by the All India Trinamool Congress. Mamata Banerjee is a leader who respects each and every religion, and she has proved that. She has categorically said several times that TMC means temple, mosque and church, and we respect each and every religion like that.
Okay.
It is the statement of Mamata Banerjee, and it is always what Mamata Banerjee says, and we believe in that, and TMC believes in that. But the divisive politics of BJP, we have seen that just for their vote bank, the way they want to divide the society.
Okay, you made those points. You just made those points a few minutes ago. So I'm going to go across to BJP spokesperson Shahzad Poonawala. It is the BJP that is dividing society. Trinamool Congress treats everyone equally, says the Trinamool Congress spokesperson. Please respond.
TMC does not mean temple, mosque, church. It means Tushtikaran Mujhe Chahiye. And the evidence of that is the fact that Mahua Moitra is a serial offender. Her comments on the Shivling, her comments of Brahmins being Chotiwala Rakshas, or her comments now, or Sayoni Ghosh's despicable tweet, which Abhijit was referring to. She was rewarded with a ticket. Kunal Ghosh's statements on Masita. There's a long litany, and this is the party, in fact, which put a ban on Durga Puja Visarjan. This is a party that gave only for appeasement batta to imams. This is a party which banned the word Ram Dhenu and replace it with Rang Dhenu. This is a party which puts people in jail for Jai Shri Ram. Today, they should not be quoting out of the Chandi part. They should tell us what action they will take if they truly indeed believe that Ma Durga has been offended by the words of Mahua Moitra, or else they condone those statements and therefore they are not acting. Let me give you the example between the two cases. Nupur Sharma made her statements. She, by the way, withdrew those statements and was apologetic for it. Yet she was suspended from the primary membership of the party, and today that action has been taken. But on the other hand, Mahua Moitra is defending her statement, is in fact challenging everyone, including the media, saying I'm definitely not apologetic for it. All the TMC does is put out some condemnation tweet, takes no action against the list of these people who offended Hindu sentiments, and today has the gall to come out and say that look, we have taken action. What action will you take on her in the party? Point number one. And point number two, if your police can issue lookout notices for Nupur Sharma, 3 or 4 of them, when is the lookout notice being issued for Mahua Moitra? Please answer specifically, Mr. Deb, because I have much regard for you. On the other hand, you have Congress also. Congress will also come and say, no, we don't agree with Shashi Tharoor. But this is the same Shashi Tharoor who's offended Hindu sentiments by saying Bhikshu on Shivling. This is the same Congress party. Sir, please 1 second. Sir, 1 second.
Yeah, you made your point. Shahzad, let him respond. You pointed direct questions at TMC. We can't have all questions coming at the same time. Let the TMC respond to the direct charges that you made. Mr. Dev, it's not enough. The action you've taken is not enough. Show that you are serious about what you just said as far as distancing from Mahua Moitra by taking action, says the BJP. Otherwise, they'll continue their protest.
I am sorry to say that BJP has not, the government has not taken any positive action, any legal action against Nupur Sharma for spreading fire in the country.
Sir, but they at least suspended her.
As a party
Can the party at its own level take some action?
Specific.
Mr. Dev?
Pardon me?
The BJP says that they have suspended Nupur Sharma for 6 years for those comments.
Of course, but
it is for the legal machinery to take its action. She has approached the Supreme Court to club those cases. But the point that is being made, the legal aspect is one thing. The point is at the level of the party will more action be taken. That's the question, and that's the demand of BJP.
Our immediate reaction, the All India Trinamool Congress has distanced itself from the comments made by Mahua Moitra and has categorically
taking action on her?
That this statement was made in her personal capacity. capacity, on her personal capacity. Now, what action?
Then why didn't you say that for other statements? Why just for this?
That you will see in due course. That you will see in due course. But please let us know. Please
what due course is this, boss? Please tell us what action you're taking. What due course? Is it kosher to abuse Hindu religion?
Supreme Court
is it kosher and secular to abuse Hindu religion?
Loose tongue has set the country on fire.
Now you have seen the true colors, mother.
You again that what action has been taken? That Udaipur killing.
They will not take single action against those who abuse Hindu religion.
By Nupur Sharma. Please tell us. Please let the country know.
Mr. Deb,
you are not
by just saying all this, you are making no sense.
Mr. Deb, it's very easy. It's very easy to throw stones at other political parties, but many would question what you're doing within. All right, let me take this across to our other guest now. Tehseen Poonawala, direct question coming in from Shehzad as far as what Mr. Shashi Tharoor has said. Now it appears that the Congress member of Parliament is coming out to back Mahua Moitra. Is this the official position of the Congress party? And many would raise a question as to when the party itself, when TMC itself is distancing from Mahua Moitra, at a time like this, Mahua Moitra's statement being supported by Mr. Tharoor is certainly going to raise some very serious questions.
Jai Ma Kaali, and thank you for having me on the show. I'm just going to make two very brief points. Point number one, and I'll answer your question very specifically about Dr. Tharoor, but point number one, today we are at a crossroads in our society where we need to discuss where freedom of speech goes. And of course, as a supporter of democracy and as we all a democratic nation, we would want to err on side of excess freedom of speech rather than less freedom of speech. However, freedom of speech cannot be selective. It cannot only apply to A religion and not apply to B religion. A subject can be spoken about, but B subject cannot be spoken about. So my opinion on this is that if we want freedom of speech, which we all should cherish and fight for, it should be equal for all religions. Nothing should be off the table. And that should come in the spirit of improving on opening the windows of society. To the second point on Dr. Tharoor, because that's your specific charge or the specific charge of the Bharatiya Jhutha Party. The Bharatiya Jhutha Party has no rights to give anyone any certificates or ask questions, because ask the Bharatiya Jhutha Party spokesperson to answer specifically what action did the BJP take on Naresh Agarwal. They took him in the BJP after, while being in the Samajwadi Party, on the floor of the house he insulted Lord Ram, and they made Mahesh Sharma ji a minister after on the floor of the house he asked to raise questions on the birth of Ma Sita. So they of all the people have no right to give certificates either of Hinduism or of Indianness to anybody. They are the biggest Jhutha party in this country.
Okay, Shehzad, quick response please.
Tell the spokesperson of AICC, All India Confused Caucus, that first of all, if you disassociate yourselves with Shashi Tharoor, what action are you taking on him? And secondly, if you are such a big harbinger of freedom of speech, then why did you ban satanic verses? Now you will come and say 20 years down the line, oh, it was a wrong move. But you banned satanic verses, you banned a whole list of books and movies, and today you are coming and lecturing us. Apne gireban mein jaakar dekho, All India Confused Caucus. And please tell us what action you're taking on Shashi Tharoor, and that gentleman can tell us what action he's taking on Mahua Moitra.
Okay, Tehseen. Tehseen, should action be not taken on Mr. Tharoor if the Congress party is serious that this comment, and one should be, there's a series of Congress leaders in fact who've come out and distanced from the position of Mahua Moitra, but Mr. Tharoor endorsing her position is something that has clearly not just caused the party embarrassment, but is leading the BJP to ask for what action will be taken on Mr. Tharoor.
Dr. Tharoor is not the spokesperson of the Congress. The Congress officially distanced itself from Dr. Tharoor. Within a couple of seconds of Dr. Tharoor speaking, how long did it take the BJP to distance itself from Nupur Sharma until foreign countries did not come and embarrass the Honorable Prime Minister, our embarrassed Prime Minister? And therefore I'm saying the BJP for years, which promoted Naresh Agarwal, Congress hasn't done that, which promoted Mahesh Sharma ji, who insulted the birth of Ma Sita, who insulted Lord Ram on the floor of the Parliament, and Arun Jaitley ji said that this man should be arrested. What did BJP do? Gave his family tickets, took him in BJP with open arms. The BJP cannot preach to this country. It is only here to spread hate. Even in the Udaipur attack, people from BJP are rumored to be there. What is it? Why are there pictures with BJP leaders? Why not with other party leaders? Because the BJP is the bada jhagdalu party in this country.
Okay, 10 seconds, Shehzad. Quick response and I go across to Rahul Ishwar.
Just one line. Just one. Since Tehseen is such a hardcore defender of Hindus tonight, what action did you take on the person who submitted the affidavit that Shri Ram doesn't exist and Ram Mandir should be not made? This was the Congress party. At least look at your own Giryaban before you talk. Tehsin, you're a poster boy of hypocrisy, speaking for All India Confused Caucus.
Okay. All right. I have to intervene here. I can't keep this sparring happening between two brothers. Let me go across to other guests, please. Rahul Ishwar, now the simple question that I have to ask you is this. There are many...
Just one line.
Tehsin, we'll come to you. We'll come to you, sir. Please, we cannot allow this continuous because you will say something, then he will respond. He'll say something, you will respond. There are others who have not yet spoken. Please bear with me. I'm coming back to you. Please bear with me. Rahul Ishwar, simple question. There are those who are coming out to say that in India, the manner of worship, the mode of worship that we may, each of us practice, there are very, very different and divergent practices from state to state, from district to district. Within the district itself, there are very many different practices. And while the overwhelming majority of Hindus may be outraged by what Mahua Moitra is saying, what she has said, if is unpalatable to many, many would say is also rooted in some amount of fact.
Madhavji, this is the same fact some people will say to use to defend Nupur Sharma. See, facts can be misused and misinterpreted in particular ways to demean any religion, whether it be Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or Mata Kaali. Yes, there is diversity. There are many interpretations, but that doesn't mean one person can misrepresent, misinterpret, and demean. And I, as a normal Indian, beyond politics, find it a great thing. India being Vishwaguru, banning satanic verses, even before Saudi Arabia did, even before Pakistan did, even before 50 Islamic nations did. This is what makes India India, the celebration of diversity, what Vivekananda told in 1893. This is what makes India India, because this is the pluralism, positive secularism or pluralism that we espouse. See, why can't we have, there are two positions in this. One, let us disrespect all religions, the French model of secularism. That won't suit in India. We need an Indian model of secularism or an Indian model of pluralism, where every faith is being sensitive, shown sensitivity, where every religion is being shown sensitivity, whether it is Holy Mother Mary, Mata Kaali or Hazrat Aisha, that respect should be given to them. And what is the position of Supreme Court earlier? When Da Vinci Code was released, when there was a case in Honorable Supreme Court made it a point that there should be a strong disclaimer saying that this has nothing to do with Jesus Christ. See, I, being a person who adores Jesus Christ, felt offended because of the inaccurate descriptions on it. Yes, creative freedom is there, but please remember, there is no liberty without responsibility. There is no creativity without sensitivity. There are always Lakshmana Rekhas, and unless we respect Lakshmana Rekhas, we will end up in revenge kind of creativity. We will end up demeaning each other, attacking each other in the name of creativity. And I am a Hindu activist. I am proud to say I gave a complaint against Innocence of Muslim, a movie which demeans our Muslim brothers, which demeans Holy Quran. See, there are hate mongers who will misuse the occasion of free speech to spread hate speech. Please remember, freedom of expression is great, but free speech is not hate speech, and we should draw the line somewhere. Our culture, our constitution says there are some Lakshmana Rekhas, and unless we respect that Lakshmana Rekha, our freedom and our Sita Mata will be snatched away by Ravans, and they will say this is the freedom to kidnap.
Okay.
So always there should be Lakshmana Rekha, and that should be respected.
Let me bring in Anirban on that. Anirban, are Lakshman Rekhas only for a few? Or should it be something that everyone respects? Because at the end of the day, the constitution, the law of the land puts reasonable restrictions on free speech. You're a lawyer, you know that very well. So why should this rule then apply only to a few and not to everyone at large?
This rule applies to every constitution, every citizen bound by the constitution in India. And what I want to categorically mention is that what Madam Mahua Moitra responded to a question is simply a fact. She was simply stating a fact that Mother Kaali is worshipped in a variety of ways. Since we are a country of great diversity, especially the Hindu community in our country has many different social, religious and cultural practices. The cultural practices of the East may or may not be similar to what is practiced in the South or the West or the North. Therefore, that is the strength of the Hindu community in our country and in India as general. Therefore, she was mentioning a fact. The needless
Anirban, that brings us back to the same point we were debating. Please excuse me for interrupting, but if I can just ask you a simple question. Tomorrow there will be another set of people who will come out and say that what was said by Nupur Sharma, they believe was based on some kind of fact. Not that it is correct, but if there are unpalatable facts about any religion, sir, why bring them out in the public domain where the potential to really, affect the sentiments of people and believers of that faith is there? Why not restrict oneself? That's the same question that should have been asked of Nupur Sharma. The same question certainly applies in that case to Mahua Moitra.
Let me answer. The tantric way of worshipping Mother Kaali has been practiced for centuries. For centuries. It is not for a few days or a few months. It has been practiced for centuries, and the tantric way of worshipping Mother Kali, it needs that you, even symbolically, you use the meat or alcohol or other elements that there is. It is written in the Rig Veda, it is written in the many scriptures, Hindu religious scriptures. There are hundreds years old Durga Pujas, Kali Pujas, Tara Pujas, where fish, meat, and what we call Karun Bari, that is symbolic alcohol, is actually presented before the goddess. It is not as if that we are encouraging somebody to eat meat or eat fish or drink alcohol or even prohibiting someone from doing that.
Okay.
It is simply a ritual that has taken place.
They are symbolic.
Sir, it is about offending people's religious sentiments. And I want to bring in Rahul Ishwar on that point. Rahul Ishwar,
just one submission to Anirbanji. Please. Please remember, there are many symbolic things in all religions. Let us not decontextualize it. If we are going to decontextualize and apply it to a particular context, we will end up fighting with each other. See, I personally know Nupur Sharma, I like her. But what she said under the garb of a fact was absolutely offensive. See, we can misinterpret things or, place it in a particular way so that it can demean community. And what Mahua Moitra said is absolutely demeaning in the context, especially a debate is going on Kaali poster. Nearly all the people, whether they are right or left, condemn the poster. There has been unanimity, 99% unanimity saying that such depiction should be avoided, especially with cigarette. Right now, she is partially defending, indirectly defending, saying that it is freedom of expression is offensive. This is the reason why we went against M.F. Hussain too. We respect him as a painter, but some of the paintings cross the line. Unless you respect my line, how can I respect your line?
These are double standards, Mamata Banerjee. It's being hypocritical. It's being hypocritical to be outraged only by one statement and not by both.
Very clear.
The same yardstick has to apply to all, Mr. Banerjee.
Any film.
Mahua Moitra never referred to the particular cinema, documentary, poster or anything about smoking. She was referring to the particular
Then why is TMC distance from a statement?
It's in the context, right?
No, then why is TMC distance? 1 second. Why is TMC distance then?
No, the TMC does not want any
if a statement was correct, then why should TMC distance in the first place?
No, it is a
TMC should come out and say there's nothing wrong with what she has said. All her party spokespersons are coming out to distance from the statement.
Mahua Moitra was speaking at a conclave where she was speaking as a guest. She mentioned the fact.
That does not justify the statement. She may have been at a conclave, she may have been a guest, but she has to be mindful of what she's saying if she's a member of parliament. Abhijit Iyer Mitra.
Anybody who has witnessed a Kali Puja knows.
Is it such a benign statement as Mr. Banerjee would like to have us believe?
Look, I completely buy Arindam's statement. I completely accept that Kali has different rites and rituals which are tantric across the board. But tell me, in which part of the world was Sayoni Ghosh's tweet putting a condom on a Shivalinga correct? Because I've yet to come across even a tantric practice that shows that.
Respond to that, Anirban. Lost that line. Respond to that. All right. We have the TMC spokesperson, Mr. Bishwadeep Deb. Is that statement or that image of a condom of a shivling, is that something that the party endorses, sir? That's the question coming in from Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Please respond.
Sayoni Ghosh was not a member of TMC when this alleged particular allegation was leveled against her. We don't know whether it is right or wrong or whether she has said it. But yes, it is an allegation, and that was not at the time when she was a member of the TMC. I want to make it categorically clear. And regarding this particular statement of Mahua Moitra, I would like to say, Mahua Moitra has clearly explained that she has not supported.
All right, please put your phone down. Please put your phone down, Mr. Mitra, please. I mean, we've seen that comment. Let's not invoke people's passions now.
BJP is creating a confusion. BJP is trying to divert the attention of the people from the rise of price, from the high rise of prices, from the
you're diverting attention. You're diverting attention from basic issues of price rise, of unemployment, of development, so on and so forth. Shehzad Poonawala, by raising such issues, you're trying to divert the attention of the people. All right, you made a point, Mr. Dev. Quick response from BJP. Quick response from the BJP. Yes, Shehzad.
Yeah, Madhav. By the way, Sayoni made that statement and then she was rewarded subsequently by giving her a ticket. Yes. Kunal Ghosh was a member of the TMC when he made the comments about Ma Sita. You also had people from the TMC like Mahua Moitra making comments about Brahmins being Chotiwala Ravans. No action was taken. And in fact, today my question is only this, that if you believe the statement is condemnable, then why not go the whole hog? Here you find one TMC supporter coming out and defending it, the other one saying, yes, we've taken this action, but we won't go no further. This means that this is only cosmetic action, and therefore you must tell us what action needs to be taken. Secondly, Mahua Moitra made these comments. If she wanted to discuss, she could have discussed about price rise. Why did she make comments about Ma Kaali? And now you tell me what action from the party's end will you take? Because Mr. Deb, you are a responsible party spokesperson. I am asking you a specific question. What action will you take on Mahua Moitra from the party?
All right. No, Mr. Deb has been asked that question. He hasn't responded. So therefore, I do not want to go back to him. But I will ask Tehseen this. Tehseen, even when it comes to Dr. Tharoor, unfortunately, Dr. Tharoor has in the past also been accused of making many sensational claims and many sensational statements, from Scorpion on a shivling to Hindu Pakistan to Hindu Taliban. And therefore, in that context, I'm saying that Mr. Tharoor or Dr. Tharoor, perhaps action should have been taken on part of the party. Just distancing from a person who has made these kind of comments, which could potentially be offensive, is something that the party has not done. And therefore, we are once again seeing him come out and make this statement.
Okay, but the party did condemn, and he's not said something that was which there should be any legal action on. He supported somebody else's statement, and the party has distanced itself from that point of view. So that's not the most pressing issue. The pressing issue out here, Madhav, is this. Look, for example, and this is the more important point, my wife, she worships Kal Bhairav. Now, there are Sattvic traditions, she follows the Tantric traditions, but that's between her and her Aradhya. That's not up for public discussion. And whatever is Mahua Moitra's position with regards to her worship and her devotion to Ma Kaali, we respect that. The point out here, and I kind of agree and concur with what Rahul Ishwar was saying, is the question asked to Mahua Moitra was specifically on that poster of Ma Kaali. Now, I am all for creative liberty, but as Ranveer said earlier on your show, is creative liberty to bring betterment in your society, or is it for sensationalism or cheap internet brownie points? If it is the former, one can understand it. If it's the latter, which this poster seems to be, then that's condemnable. And that question to Mahua Moitra regarding that poster,
is the Lakshman
that's
Rekha
where the
only for a
problem
few?
started.
And I want to close this debate with comments from Abhijit on that. Abhijit, is the Lakshman Rekha only for a few in this country?
It's always been only for a few. Remember, the way the laws are structured, it always rewards the most law-breaking community that is willing to go out on the street, behead and riot. Because remember, offense, how do you measure offense? Giving offense, anybody can take offense. So the person who makes it the most vocal out on the street, it's essentially the street veto. It's the enshrining of the street veto. And remember, Hindus don't go around doing these things. Even today, what is happening, people are only filing FIRs against Mahua Moitra. Has anyone seen a death threat against her?
Right. We'll have to leave it there.
No.
We'll have to leave it there. I think the debate has been very clear. Positions have been very well articulated by all. But certainly, of course, the BJP says that it's not going to end its agitation unless the TMC takes some kind of decisive action on Mahua Moitra for what they deem are extremely offensive statements. To thank all our guests for joining us. Shahzad Poonawala of the BJP, Abhijit Iyer Mitra, Rahul Ishwar, Anirban Banerjee, Biswajit Deb, and Tehseen Poonawala. Eight scares in 60 days, from smoke in the cabin to engines on fire and cracking windshields. The list of SpiceJet's technical snags are unending. Just yesterday, we told you about the airline's twin scare. First, a malfunctioning fuel indicator, and then its Kandla-Mumbai flight's priority landing in Maharashtra's capital after cracks developed on the windshield midair. But it doesn't end there. The latest to join the list of the malfunctioning is the weather radar on a SpiceJet cargo flight. A total of 8 incidents have been reported in the last 2 months, from emergency landing in Patna to passengers injured in turbulence. Now, SpiceJet's safety is under the DGCA scanner. This is, of course, the statutory regulatory body that is, in fact, responsible for civil aviation safety in India and has now pulled up DGCA for its safety issues. A show cause notice has been served to SpiceJet, and the airline has rebutted, saying that the DGCA's audit report said that aircraft were found to be safe. However, SpiceJet has agreed to respond to the show cause notice within 3 weeks. SpiceJet is currently stuck between a rock and a hard place. While on the one hand, it is a scrutiny from the regulatory body, on the other, its public reputation. But this is not just SpiceJet's story. Two more airlines, Vistara and Indigo, have reported technical snags today. Smoke was detected in the cabin of Indigo's Airbus aircraft flying from Raipur to Indore on July 5th while taxiing after landing. Whereas in the case of Vistara, a minor electrical malfunction occurred in the engine of a Vistara flight from Bangkok after it landed at the Delhi airport. Pertinently, these series of snags have landed us at our legitimate question: is your safety left in the hangar? And breaking news coming in. While passengers hold on to their hearts during air scares, the DGCA says that there's nothing to worry. However, when something ill-fated transpires, the DGCA swings into action and takes the airline into question to task. Is this normal, or is the DGCA in damage control mode to make up for the deteriorating trust of people in airlines? Let's go across to Poonam for more on this. Poonam, what is the DGCA saying? Because the DGCA seems to be saying that there are a number of incidents that take place, at least 24 or so incidents that are quite normal on any given day.
Absolutely. Arun Kumar of the DGCA, who we spoke to, told us that at least 30 incidents like this happen on an everyday basis, and most of them are not serious. He also goes on to say that most of these happen because of medical emergencies or missed approaches or the inclement weather or even bird hit. So there are several of these instances that come to the fore on an everyday basis. Most of them have absolutely no safety implications, and the fact that these actually get reported also goes on to show that there is a robust management system as far as the regulatory body is concerned. That's the defense coming in from the DGCA, also trying to allay fears of the passengers that the fact that so many instances are being reported one after another should not really worry frequent flyers.
All right, thanks so much for that, Poonam. Certainly, of course, very important information coming in that over 30 such incidents happen on a given day. But this certainly, of course, is a cause of concern given the kind of pictures that we've been seeing. The DGCA, of course, saying that only shows that there's a robust safety and regulatory system at work. Thanks so much for joining us with that update there, Poonam. All right, and to discuss more about what's exactly been happening as far as SpiceJet is concerned, we have with us MD of SpiceJet, Mr. Ajay Singh. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us for more on the story. Let me begin by asking you, these several incidents that have been reported the past several days. Now, these are, of course, in respect to malfunctioning of certain equipment, among other concerns that have been reported. How do you respond to these concerns, and particularly the notice of the DGCA that has been sent to the SpiceJet airline today?
Well, firstly, I just want to say that, as always, SpiceJet is a 100% safe airline, and as it has been for the last 15 years. These incidents are relatively minor incidents that happen on a daily basis, as the Director General has himself said today. On average, 30 such incidents happen every single day in the aviation space over India. So, you know, this is not to say that we must not be extremely careful. Safety, of course, is paramount, and wherever we can take corrective action, we must do it. As always, we welcome any scrutiny by the regulator. It's his job to look at the safety practices that all of us have and give his suggestions or instructions, if any. So we welcome any notice that DGCA has given to us, and we will work very closely with them to see how best we can further improve our safety practices. I just want to say that just because there are incidents in the Indian aviation space does not make the Indian aviation space unsafe.
Right.
This is very normal globally. And Indian aviation actually is amongst the safest in the world. Right. And if you look at global averages, we actually do better. So, right. So there is nothing at all to be concerned about, and where there are some small glitches, of course, we are happy to fix them.
Right. Sir, I just want to quote from the DGCA's notice today, because it has raised several issues, and one of the things that it talks about is that it had conducted a review, and that shows that there's been poor internal safety oversight, quote unquote. Also says that maintenance actions have been questioned, and that there's been a degradation of safety margins. Now, this appears to be very strong language used here by the DGCA.
So, this is typical of the language they use in a show cause notice. As I said, we will actively work with them to resolve any issue that they may have. We already had one meeting with them today, and we will continue to work with them to make sure that there is no issue at all. And let me just say that they actually audited each and every one of our aircraft. DGCA conducts regular audits of airlines and aircraft. And just in the month of May, they had audited every single one of our aircraft said that they were absolutely safe to fly. We continue to work with them, and wherever there are any issues. We had a meeting today. They had certain suggestions. We have taken them on board, and we will certainly report compliance of those suggestions.
Right. So the last couple of years have been very difficult for the aviation industry on the whole, not just here in India but globally, with COVID and of course extremely curtailed flight schedules, with rising ATF prices more recently. So there has been a lot of financial strain on airlines, and particularly SpiceJet has seen some turbulence there as far as its financial condition is concerned. Interestingly, DGCA says that the airline has not been paying vendors. There's a shortage of spares and frequent invoking of MELs. Does this have something to do with SpiceJet's finances? Because it does appear that DGCA at least is suggesting that the financial condition has something to do with the safety position, at least in terms of spares. That's a suggestion being made.
So firstly, of course, the financial condition of airlines has been extremely poor. As you know, COVID completely decimated this industry, and unlike airlines around the world, of course, the government of India understandably had other priorities and was unable to support us as airlines were supported around the world. Once COVID ended, there was a sharp uptick in demand, but at that time Russia invaded Ukraine, and we've seen prices of the sort, ATF prices of the sort that we have never seen in our lives. Today, with the last pricing change on the 15th of June, effectively ATF was at a cost of $180 a barrel, not 120, which is the oil price, but $180 a barrel. So it's been extremely difficult. Having said that, no amount of financial problem will ever mean that any airline in this country will fly an unsafe airplane. That just cannot happen. You will not fly a plane if it is unsafe, if it doesn't have the spare parts that are required, etc. So no matter what financial condition, the airline will always fly 100% safe, and that is our mandate. And DGCA, of course, has great oversight on these issues, and not even one of the incidents referred to by the DGCA has anything to do with faulty spares or lack of spares or anything.
Right. No, but that's the concern being made, because, if I can just quote one more sentence from the DGCA notice, they've said that the airline has failed to establish safe and reliable air services in violation of civil aviation rules. So the safety appears to be what is topmost in the mind of DGCA at this point of time, given these incidents of turnaround of aircraft, in fact 3 taking place in 24 hours.
So now the 3 incidents that you refer to over the last 2 days. Firstly, there were 2 incidents. Secondly, let me just say that, as I said, there are 30 incidents that are happening in the Indian aviation space every single day. So the 2 incidents that you refer to, one, of course, is the incident related to the diversion to Karachi. In that case, the pilot felt that there was additional fuel being consumed at on an engine, and so he diverted to the nearest airport out of abundant caution. This is the SOP, that if you feel that there is a problem, you should divert to the nearest airport, which is what the pilot correctly did. On inspection of the aircraft, we found that there was nothing wrong with the aircraft, and the aircraft was brought back to Delhi. The second incident relates to a weather radar which malfunctioned. It is a cargo plane, no passengers on board. This is a plane which took off from Calcutta. The weather radar was functioning. It stopped functioning after the plane took off, and the plane came back to Calcutta. Now, instruments like weather radars, they sometimes malfunction. It's not a very large issue. So these are issues which happen when you have thousands of flights a day. Some incidents will happen to every airline, every single airline. Last year, if you remember, Indigo had in-flight engine shutdowns dozens of times, which I think all of you reported. But it was not the airline's fault. There was a manufacturing issue with that engine. Similarly, even today, there's some channels have been reporting, including yours, that there was an engine shutdown with Vistara. Is this Vistara's fault? Is this an issue? I mean, it's for DGCA to determine, but I doubt it. Similarly, there's smoke in some cabin, Indigo cabin, which landed somewhere. So these are issues which happen on a daily basis. We needn't get overly concerned. Where there is a concern, DGCA of course will bring it to our notice. We will all work together to make sure that we minimize the concern for the next time.
Right. So, but a total of 8 such incidents having, of course, as you rightly said, incidents such as birded are probably not in the control of the airline or the pilot or even the regulator. But the fact that 8 such incidents have been widely reported in SpiceJet, how would you like to reassure the passengers that we are not looking at a situation that the unfortunate turn of events, for instance, that we saw in Kingfisher or in Jet Airways?
So, firstly, the 8 incidents you refer to, several of them are completely related to nature. I mean, there's a bird hit. Today there were 3 bird hits. Have you reported even one of them? Of course, I mean, you haven't, because this is a routine event. The day we had our bird hit, there were 2 bird hits on another airline, which were not reported. So, these are normal issues. One issue relates to turbulence. Now, turbulence is something which can happen. I mean, you're flying in a plane, there's turbulence. There's little you can do about it. So, these are issues to get overly concerned about. They happen. They are very, very rare in the sense that, of the thousands of flights that you fly, if you have 5 or 6 incidents, they are not to be hugely concerned about. Let me say again that we have amongst the lowest incident rates in the world. And whenever you have time, we will show you that data, that Indian carriers have low incident rates, including SpiceJet, which has amongst the lowest incident rates in the country. It's just that they have been brought to the fore by a lot of media attention. If you start reporting incidents, you'll be reporting 20 or 30 of them every day.
All right. So we'll have to leave it there. Thank you so much, and we certainly hope that the skies remain as incident free as possible, of course, as much as humanly possible, and that safety at every level is ensured for the passengers, and that cuts across all airlines, needless to say. Thank you so much for joining us, sir.
That's a commitment to the flying public. Absolutely.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us and sharing with us your views so candidly.
The News Hour at 9 will be right back after the break.
Understanding and support, obviously it is of help to me. But this idea that I do a transaction, that I come in one conflict because it will help me in conflict too, that's not how the world works. So a lot of our problems in China have nothing to do with Ukraine, have nothing to do with Russia. They predate it.
The Supreme Court today has validated the findings of the special investigation team that looked into the Gujarat riots of 2002. You represented the SIT in the Supreme Court. Aspersions on the SIT's integrity. I want to ask you, Mr. Mukul Rohatgi, was this another attempt to somehow cloud the entire investigation process?
There is no doubt, Navika, that this was a motivated attempt to somehow, as the judgment uses the phrase, keep the pot boiling. And in fact, it was a phrase used by me, and the judgment acknowledges that. See, the idea was that to somehow make an attack on high functionaries in various services like the police, like fire services, and also attack the high functionaries of the government.
You're watching the News Hour at 9.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi wished Dalai Lama, the spiritual head of Tibetans, on his 87th birthday. PM also wished him a long life and good health. Prime Minister Narendra Modi spoke to Tejashwi Yadav and inquired about the health of RJD Supremo Lalu Prasad Yadav. He had fractured his right shoulder after a fall at his house in Patna. Lawrence Bishnoi, the mastermind in Sidhu Moosewala case, was sent to 5-day police remand in connection with Rana murder case. He was already in police custody till July 6, which has been extended to July 11. Domestic LPG price has been hiked by Rs 50 for every 14.2 kg cylinder. In Delhi, it will now cost over 1,000 rupees per unit. Previously, the prices for domestic cylinders were revised on May 19 this year. At least 7 people have died because of heavy rains and flash floods in Himachal Pradesh, Kullu. Relief and rescue operations are underway.
You were watching the News Hour at 9. Stay tuned.
The then Chief Minister, the then Home Minister of the state, who are currently the Prime Minister and the Home Minister today, the court has held that this was not only motivated, but this was an abuse of the legal process, because I had argued that this is not really Zakia Jafri who is protesting and keeping this kind of thing boiling, but it was some motivated forces behind her who were using her name, that she was merely a name lender. There were other forces which were behind it to somehow get at the then Chief Minister and other functionaries for their own political or private gains. And the court has validated our stand. And in fact, the SIT has been applauded by the court. It has come out with flying colors for what it did under quote-unquote trying circumstances, and every argument made by me for the SIT has found favor with the court in a thumping judgment of over 450 pages.
नाम करने की कोशिश कई लोगों ने की। हमारे साथ विधायक जो 50 विधायक हैं, इन्होंने ये निर्णय क्यों लिया, इसका कारण क्या है, इसको सोचना चाहिए था। लेकिन हम लोगों ने जो किया है, हमारी आइडियोलॉजी है बाला साहब ठाकरे जी के हिंदुत्व की, हम लोग वही आगे ले जा रहे और विकास के मुद्दे को आगे ले जा रहे हैं। जो चुनाव क्षेत्र है, जो विधायक के चुनाव क्षेत्र में अगर काम नहीं होगा तो कैसे चुनाव लड़ेंगे।
Good evening and welcome. You're watching the News Hour Agenda. I am Padmaja Joshi. What a delicious irony it is. Just when we had a whole month of people pontificating about hurt sentiments and how hurt is unpardonable, how hurt is enough reason for people to turn violent, the shoe has quickly been put on the other foot. After Nupur Sharma, it's the turn of Mahua Moitra to hurt people. If Nupur Sharma is accused of hurting Muslim sentiments, then Mahua Moitra is accused of hurting Hindu sentiments. The reason? Her comment about how Ma Kaali is a meat-eating, alcohol-accepting goddess. Now at the outset, let's be clear. Mahua Moitra is right. She does have the right to imagine her god, and in Hinduism there is enough liberal thought for people like her making their own interpretation of how their religion should be practiced. But sadly, that is not a privilege that is extended to everyone. Nupur Sharma, for one, wasn't given the freedom to interpret what she thinks of Islam. In fact, Mahua Moitra also hasn't found even her own party's support. The TMC quickly distanced itself from her comments on Goddess Kaali and condemned them in the strongest terms.
We condemn this also in equal voice.
But Subhendu demanded arrest of Mahua Moitra.
That is neither here nor there. That is for the administration to look into. This is not for the party to say anything.
We will not take advice from Shukanta Majumdar on what we should do about our own MP. We are considering Mahua Moitra's stand and we shall take a decision at the appropriate.
अगर वह हिंदुस्तान की पार्टी है तो उनको नूपुर शर्मा को पहले गिरफ्तार करना चाहिए, उसके बाद महुआ को गिरफ्तार किया जाना चाहिए। ऐसे स्पोक्स पर्सन को अभी तक भारतीय जनता पार्टी गिरफ्तार नहीं कर पाई है और अब महुआ मोत्रा को जो है मोहरा बनाया जा रहा है।
But can it end there? At condemnation? To say that whatever Mahua Moitra said was in her personal capacity. How does one decide that? What about the demands to put her in jail? Considering that both of these ladies are accused of hurting religious sentiments, shouldn't they both be exposed to the same consequences? At last count, Mahua Moitra herself faces over 50 complaints across India with close to half a dozen FIRs. Will the TMC and Mamata Banerjee take any, if not the same action against her that they are demanding against Nupur Sharma? Or is defending hurt and pontificating on respecting sentiments easier when the shoe is on the other foot?
You're watching the News Hour at 10, debate number 1 on Times Now, Super Prime Time.
All right, joining us on the debate, Shazia Almi, national spokesperson of the BJP, lawyers Priyanka Tibrewal, Ravi Srivastav, political analyst, Vikraman R, spokesperson of the VCK, Deepak Jha, political analyst. My first question is to Dr. Shashi Panja, Minister in charge of the Department of Women and Child Development and Social Welfare and national spokesperson of the Trinamool Congress. Ma'am, you have condemned the utterances of Mahua Moitra saying, and I quote, her views expressed on Goddess Kaali have been made in her personal capacity and are in capital letters, not endorsed by party in any manner or form. The Trinamool Congress strongly condemns such comments. Nupur Sharma is suspended from her party. When are you suspending Mahua Moitra?
Ma'am, there's a difference. You know, yesterday we were, incidentally at that very time, we were in a press conference. And we did not wait for anybody or anything. The moment the question came to us, it was about the Kaali poster. We also said that we condemn such kind of a poster and such kind of a representation. And we do not endorse any kind of such distortion. Second was, at that same time, she was in a conclave, Honorable MP Mahua Moitra, and there was a question about the poster. Probably she didn't answer that, and she did express her opinion. Now, she expressed her opinion and what the party is saying immediately, because I myself was there in the press conference, that these are views of her own, and these are not the views of the All India Trinamool Congress. Now, that it was a prompt response, and it didn't take us 10 days. It took us just about over 2 hours, probably after that comment was made, where All India Trinamool Congress said that this is not the view of the party. Our party is pluralistic, it's secular, it respects all religions.
But what makes you think the utterances of Nupur Sharma are the views of the BJP? If they were the views of the BJP, they wouldn't have suspended her. Clearly, the BJP also doesn't agree with the views of Nupur Sharma. That being said, they've suspended her. If you don't agree with the views of Mahua Moitra, why aren't you suspending her?
No, ma'am. Padmaja, can you just show me on record where the BJP actually condemned absolutely very quickly and promptly? It was only first response came from the government of India.
Ma'am, actually in the suspension notice that has been given against Nupur Sharma, the Bharatiya Janata Party has said unequivocally, we do not agree with the views expressed by Nupur Sharma, and she has been put under suspension. Now I'll again come back to the point.
Is that enough, ma'am? Today, ma'am?
You think suspension is not enough? You haven't even suspended Mahua Moitra. And you are saying Nupur's suspension is not enough when you haven't even suspended Mahua Moitra.
BJP till record on its social media or the Twitter, which it so frequently uses for various reasons, has not condemned. Bharatiya Janata Party has not condemned.
Hasn't it? Okay, let's set the record straight. Shazia
Government of India.
Bharatiya Janata Party has on record never condemned.
It came from the government of India, not from Bharatiya Janata Party.
Actually, madam, the fact that she is suspended and her suspension letter has the condemnation. Let Shazia Almi answer for her party. You may have suspended, but you have not condemned, Shazia Almi.
Yeah, let me come in, please. Ma'am, so the TMC speaker either is feigning ignorance, naivety, or is actually ignorant. I don't know. Either she is pretending to be not well read on the subject or up to speed.
Doesn't matter what
everybody knows what's happened, and I need not go there. She's obviously trying to deflect.
What has
no,
happened?
BJP has categorically not just disowned Nupur Sharma's comment, but clearly said and suspended Nupur Sharma. So, one moment. No. Please do not run all over the place.
Ma'am, actually, let me quote to you from the suspension letter of Nupur Sharma, which was issued by the Bharatiya Janata Party on a letterhead of the Bharatiya Janata Party. I will try and pull it up also. The Bharatiya Janata Party says, and I quote,
the very important question is when? When did it happen?
Ma'am, it has condemned and suspended. You have condemned, distanced, but yet not suspended.
International condemnation, and then
no, she's just
Dr. Panja, let me quote to you what the Bharatiya Janata Party said. It said, we respect all religions and strongly denounce insult of any religious personality, unquote. That being said, they have suspended this lady. You say we do not agree with what Mahua Moitra is saying. Why do you have in your party fold a person whose views you do not brook? Whose views you don't agree with, and yet she continues to be your voice inside the Lok Sabha, Dr. Panja. Lok Sabha.
Again the difference, Padmaja ji, the difference. Nupur Sharma was on that national channel live, of course this channel live,
yes,
as a BJP spokesperson.
Okay.
She was there as a spokesperson. And you suspend her, you waited, you suspended her when there was an international backlash.
Mahua Moitra was in that conclave as a member of parliament of the TMC. Mahua Moitra was not sitting in the lobby of the hotel when suddenly the channel said, please come and speak to us. Mahua Moitra was in that conclave representing your party.
Why don't you ask her? This is her personal view. Why did you ask her?
How do you determine whether it's somebody's personal view or official view?
This was view of the Trinamool Congress?
Dr. Panja, how do you determine it was Mahua Moitra's personal view? She was there in the capacity of your member of parliament.
Ask her, ma'am. Best is, why did you ask her?
How do you determine what Nupur said was her official line, but what Mahua Moitra said was her personal view?
Ma'am, Padmaja, if you defend Nupur Sharma, you will be defending Udaipur. You will be defending
Jammu Kashmir. That is again a very unfair extrapolation. Let me say that very clearly. You are prejudging a sub judice matter by saying, one, that Nupur Sharma is responsible for Udaipur. Going by your logic, ma'am, one could also say that tomorrow any hate crime, God forbid, happens against a Muslim, will Mahua Moitra be held responsible for it?
Ma'am,
if from this date onwards, the 4th of July, if from the 4th of July till eternity, God forbid, any Muslim is a victim of hate crime, are you, Dr. Shashi Panja, saying that Mahua Moitra will be responsible for it?
God forbid, Padmaja ji, we are not in a fictitious discussion.
But ma'am, you have fictitiously pinned Udaipur on Nupur Sharma. What is the logic?
You don't defend this. Now you're going to defend.
Ma'am, I will defend somebody's right to not be called guilty of murder when they have nothing to do with it. The only people guilty of murder in Udaipur are Ghaus Mohammed and Mohammad Riaz. Till the time the court decides. Let's be very clear, ma'am, on the matter of legal jurisprudence.
Okay, are you going to defend the trolls on the Supreme Court judges too?
I am defending that nobody should be held guilty unless proven so. Period.
Are you now going to
Pancha,
defend
why are you running away from the topic?
Sharma is
Why are you scared to talk about Mahua Moitra? No, Nupur Sharma is not being discussed. Mahua Moitra is being discussed, and why are you running away from the topic? Are you embarrassed? Are you embarrassed? Are you finding her comments too hot to handle? Do you find her comments too contentious? Do you think it's embarrassing your party? Do you think it's difficult for you to defend what she said? Is that why TMC has distanced itself from Mahua Moitra? Is that why TMC has distanced itself?
Okay. I wonder if you could see it, but for the benefit of Dr. Panja, I'm going to actually play out the suspension of Nupur Sharma again. We will just hide her address and putting out the exact verbatim what the Bharatiya Janata Party said. The Bharatiya Janata Party said, Dr. Panja, and I quote, "You have expressed views contrary to the party's position on various matters. It is in clear violation of Rule 10A of the Constitution of BJP. I have been directed to convey to you that pending further inquiry, you are suspended from the party and your responsibilities with immediate effect." And subsequently, leaders of the party said, "We condemn insult to people of any religion," quote unquote. And then they suspended her until further notice. I will again come back, Dr. Panja, and ask you, since you have also taken a similar line with Mahua Moitra and condemned what she said, when will we see the suspension?
Again, Padmaja, why are you trying to avoid seeing the difference? When did this happen? Where the BJP was forced to issue this letter.
Okay.
Till then, in between, there was total silence. You cannot deny that. It's there. This is what whenever.
Okay, Shazia, it is the timing which is important, not the content.
Okay.
Obviously, you
Okay, let her answer. It is the timing, not the content.
So I'm asking here, so by the same logic, when will you be forced to take this action? So that's why I'm asking you. So right now you are distancing yourself. When will you be forced to suspend?
Ma'am, are you in a position to ask questions? Is your party going to ask questions or answer the questions which the nation asks you?
Yes,
where is Nupur Sharma?
I'm completely in a position to ask questions.
Where is Nupur Sharma, ma'am?
You have had double standards. You have subjected my Hindu friends to such a state that they have to listen to all kinds of remarks about gods and goddesses that they believe in, which hurts their sentiments.
Amazing.
Okay, let me. I think it is safe to say, Dr. Panja. It is safe to say, Dr. Panja, that we are not going to see a suspension in the near future. Let me draw in the others as well. Priyanka Tibrewal, do you think, legally speaking, these offences are different?
Not at all. When it was 295, it was 295A, 298, same. Hurting religious feelings deliberately. So whatever is done was, if Nupur was wrong, Mahua cannot be right. Now, Ms. Dastidar will require some patience to listen to me, and I was waiting patiently. I expect the same from her. She questioned the timing. I will answer on the timing. See, timing is very important when a member of parliament, who is a representative of the people, knows what is going on in the country, and still she chooses. She chooses, I say why? Because she said that whatever she has done is in her capacity. You have nothing to do in your own capacity when you are a people's representative and you were sitting on that debate as a member of parliament of a particular party. And there you had deliberate intentions where you wounded the religious feelings. Now again, timing is very important because right now Ms. Dastidar was saying that what quick actions they have taken. So I will say that they have neither condemned nor have they suspended Saini Ghosh, who did something, and what did she do? She had a condom over a Shivlinga comment made in the year 2021 January. Thereafter, she was rewarded in June 2021, where she was made the president of the youth. Now, timing is again very important. Just 5 days back, Nirmal Majhi, an MLA of TMC, what does he say? That Mamata Banerjee is the reincarnation of Ma Sharda. Now, what have they done? They have neither condemned nor suspended. Timing is very important. So, they are serial and habitual offenders where they have decided to hurt the sentiment of Hindus because they think we are only secular people left in the country.
Dr.
And we will not speak.
And
So
everyone sidesteps the issue of Shiny Ghosh. The thing is, because what she made was so despicable that, madam, nobody even dares to show it on TV.
Padmajaji.
Not for any other reason except that this is truly hurtful.
Priyanka, this is Dr. Panja.
Yes, I corrected her, Dr. Panja. Go on.
No, she did, I think she...
I'm extremely sorry.
This is Shashi Panja. Good evening to you, Priyanka.
I am extremely sorry.
Now what no. Priyanka did mention something.
Good evening.
About the capacity of Mahua as a MP. So I just wanted to ask when Nupur Sharma said...
No, a second. Dr. Panja, with the greatest respect, why do you keep sidestepping the issue of your own members? Mahua Moitra is not suspended. Shiny Ghosh is not even reprimanded. At least you distance yourself from Mahua Moitra. You know, Dr. Panja, what I'm talking about. Shiny Ghosh's tweet is still out there in social media. She is still an office bearer of your party. And what she did with that cartoon of the Shivling, you also know, Dr. Panja, and I also know. And she hasn't even been reprimanded for it. Why?
You know how many issues...
What is the timing for that?
Padmajaji, try to be the anchor, not the panelist.
But ma'am, you're not answering the question.
No.
It's a direct question.
Now how did you allow them to...
What about Shiny Ghosh? You are saying the timing of Nupur Sharma was too late. I am asking you if it is about timing. Shiny Ghosh, and I apologize if this is going to be hurtful or it may seem derogatory, but Shiny Ghosh, a leader of your party, put a condom on a Shivling and said, what a great use sometimes for a Shivling. And the fact is, madam, that till date, if you're talking about timing and how BJP was late in addressing Nupur Sharma, you haven't addressed Shiny Ghosh's issue till date. What about that?
Okay, let's bring in other names from BJP, since you are trying to digress from the...
I am not digressing.
You have arranged.
You are saying I was making a clear comparison of hurtful Mahua versus hurtful Nupur. You said against Nupur it was too late. I am saying you have not even done anything against Shiny Ghosh, leave alone be late.
No.
She put a condom on a Shivling.
You have invited me to a debate. Do not interrupt when we are trying to answer you.
Answer.
You see, no, let there be some civility in the debate.
Go on.
I am trying to say that Priyanka ji was mentioning about capacity of Nupur Sharma. So Nupur Sharma was in the capacity of a BJP spokesperson when she said that remark on the Prophet. And who responded? The government of India. In which capacity did...
Ma'am, you're sidestepping the issue. All of this has been discussed ad nauseum, Dr. Panja. The question, though, to you is very simple. Ma'am, you are trying to create a difference which doesn't exist, and I say this with the greatest of respect. You are asking...
I say it with the greatest of respect to you too.
Yes.
Why are we digressing from...
Because, ma'am, when it comes to apples, apples are apples for BJP and apples are apples for TMC. If you demanded the arrest of Nupur Sharma, let's start with the suspension of Mahua Moitra before we even get to arrest.
Let's discuss the rupee. Why it has hit the all-time low. Let's discuss the economic...
Ma'am, you could have also arrested. You could have asked for the arrest of the fall of rupee, but you asked for the arrest of Nupur Sharma instead. Why are we talking about the rupee now when I'm asking about Shiny Ghosh? The last 1 month, ma'am, you have asked for the arrest of Nupur Sharma. The rupee was a concern even then, but that didn't stop you from asking for the arrest of Nupur Sharma.
We are asking for an independent inquiry into why BJP Karyakartas were there in the Udaipur incident, in that heinous crime.
Now,
BJP is the perpetrator. Their own portfolio holders in Jammu Kashmir, in Jammu, is a lifestyle terrorist.
Okay, I think Dr. Panja, it's fairly easy to decipher by now that you are not going to really explain what is this difference that you talk about. The difference of laxity in action. I have demonstrated how you were way more lax against people who were way more hurtful. But anyway, when it comes to the gravity of offense, that is the same for both, ma'am.
For BJP done for their elite terrorist in Jammu, who's a BJP Karyakarta and IT chief.
Okay, ma'am. Again, we are digressing. I think it is amply clear right now that on the core issue of Nupur Sharma's hurt and why it is not being penalized in the same fashion, I don't think we're getting answers anytime soon. Let me get in Mr. Vikraman as well. Mr. Vikraman, do you consider yourself a liberal?
I don't want to prove that to you. Our party is liberal. Our party stands for the values of the Constitution. Whatever our Indian Constitution upholds, we are for it. We are actually for the Constitution.
Okay.
Yes, tell me.
So then in that case, do you uphold Nupur Sharma's right to speak her mind?
Definitely not. Nupur Sharma has been vocal against desecrating the Prophet Muhammad.
How?
To create unrest.
No. She never asked for desecration of Prophet Muhammad.
No, you can go ask the Supreme Court, which has given the arbiter dictum in which it says Nupur Sharma has been responsible for this Udaipur incident.
Well, sir, going again by the Supreme Court's own observations, it is not an order, first of all. It was an observation, point number one. And going by the Supreme Court's own observation, we should not prejudge an issue which is still sub judice. So please do not presume to pin on Nupur Sharma something that is sub judice. That being said, Nupur Sharma never asked for the desecration of anything. Factually, you are on thin ground.
I am saying what the Supreme Court has clearly said.
Supreme Court never said that Nupur Sharma desecrated anything.
Nupur Sharma has been responsible for what is happening.
It's an observation, not an order.
I'm also saying the same thing.
Okay, great. So now, you think that Nupur Sharma, by virtue of having hurt sentiments, deserves to be in jail. Do you think the same applies to Mahua Moitra as well, because she has also hurt sentiments?
Whose sentiments she has hurt in the first place?
Hindus?
Mahua Moitra is a believer of Ma Kaali. Mahua Moitra is the worshipper of Ma Kaali. Mahua Moitra hails from a place where Ma Kaali is celebrated as goddesses. She is worshipping Ma Kaali.
How do you know that Nupur Sharma hasn't read the Quran? And she is not a regular reader of the Quran. How do you know that?
Nupur Sharma is not an Islam.
She may not be, but she respects Islam. She reads the Quran every day. How do you know?
That is called secularism.
How do you know?
No business.
Maybe she is secular and she reads the Quran every day. Why do you presume that she doesn't?
Others' religions. You should mind your own business is what secularism says.
No,
that is what
secularism literally says that you should respect all religions. Secularism never said. Secularism, you have literally turned secularism on its head. Secularism doesn't mean I will respect my religion and mind my own business. You can mind your own business and your religion. That is the literal opposite of what secularism is.
Ali has been offered some liquor. That is what Mahua Moitra says. She has been seeing it. She has been worshipping Ma Kaali. You are not a worshipper of Ma Kaali. She is hailing from the state where Ma Kaali is celebrated as goddesses.
Okay.
Right?
Okay, so there is another worshipper of Ma Kaali, Priyanka Tibrewal, with us on the panel. She is allowed to have a contrary opinion, according to you, Vikraman, on Ma Kaali?
Of course she can.
Okay, Priyanka Tibrewal. So, Mahua Moitra is allowed to have an opinion on Ma Kaali because she is a worshipper of Ma Kaali, but Nupur Sharma can't because she should mind her own business. Hence, she should be hanged.
She is not a Muslim.
Okay.
She is not following Quran.
So nobody else should be able to talk about Islam according to you.
Little knowledge is very dangerous, first of all.
Well, considering Mr. Vikraman said that everyone should mind their own business, that would limit knowledge.
He's saying as orders and judgments were only observations, and that also not of the entire bench, one of the judges. Now, apart from that, you know, they believe that whatever they are saying And you know, this is what urban nationalism is, where you want that only one cult and one community should be secular. And what is secularism according to him? That I abuse my own culture, my own caste, my own religion, then only I will be secular to them. Sorry, I refrain and I refuse from doing so. I will in each and every way try to protect my community, my religion, my caste, my dharma. And if doing so is not secularism according to you, then I am sorry to it. But whatever Mahua Moitra said, no Bhadralok Bengali will stand with that statement. And what he is saying that yes, Kaaliji does this, Kaaliji does that, how much do you know? How much do you know? Have you seen what is practiced in the temples of Kaali? No. So how can you speak? So how can you speak? Like people question Nupur. Like people question Nupur. That what is written in Hadith and Quran. Whatever is written in Hadith and Quran is spoken by the Maulvis 110 times. But they were never questioned. She was. So even if she spoke fact, she was questioned because it hurted someone's sentiment. So here what Mahua Moitra said.
Again, Vikraman, hold on a second. You are the same person who stood here and defended the right of DK activists on the streets in Tamil Nadu, shouting that Lord Krishna is a rapist. You said, oh, that is perfectly fine, because that is something that they believe in. But Nupur Sharma is not allowed to have any belief or any interpretation, something that she may have learned.
I don't know, why are you obsessed with that word?
I am obsessed because it was said.
No, I have never used that word anywhere in your show. Go rewind it or go check your
Sir, data. You sat and defended it. There were members of the Dravid Kadagam who were on the streets. They carried out that rally. You want me to read out what exactly were the slogans given in that?
Hinduism book.
Okay, let me actually read out to you what was said in that rally. They said that how can Lord Krishna, who is a rapist, be a god? He rapes women. How is he a god? How can we accept Ayyappan as a god? And you sat here and defended it. Now you're saying, but Nupur Sharma cannot have an opinion on anyone.
I never defended it. I never defended the words. I was saying contextually it was right.
Contextually? Why do all the Hindus only have to understand the context? Nupur Sharma also said it in a context, sir. Why are all the context and the setting and the timing and the weather, the temperature at that time has to be considered when a Hindu feels offended?
You kept using the word rapist for Lord Krishna.
That is because it was said by members of the Dravid Kadagam, which you defended as being contextual. You defended it as being contextual. Don't try and turn it around, Mr. Vikraman. Go on, Shazia Almi. So apparently everything has to be understood in context.
So I think I'm glad my colleague Priyanka called out the hypocrisy of context, as I would call it, and the convenience of context as he resorted to at this point of time and sought refuge in that. But just like Priyanka and many others like her feel the need to protect her culture and her religion from the frights of Mahua Moitra, I also feel the need to protect my religion from the horrors of gauzes and riyazes, because they desecrate my religion, and it's really something I'm ashamed of. And to think that I have to call themselves my co-religionists. So I think it's really, I feel ashamed of the fact that they belong to the same religion as me, because and the killers of
But what do you make of the argument that Vikraman is giving, that Nupur Sharma cannot comment on anything because she is not a practicing Muslim? But Mahua Moitra, because she herself is a Hindu, has that freedom.
I think it's a lot of bunkum.
No, I did not say that.
I think it's a lot of bunkum.
I did not say that.
No. So listen to
Her
this.
version of Ma Kaali is different.
I want to say something.
Batmaja, you should know this. This country is full of traditions, varied traditions.
Shazi Almi cannot comment on Ma Kaali
Diversity. We should respect.
Exactly, and you should respect it, and everything should be up for scrutiny. Are you saying, sir, that only Hindus should read the Gita in terms of academics, and only Muslims should read the Quran? You should not bother to read what is happening in other religions, because according to you, mind your own business, as you say.
Are you reading Quran, Batmaja?
Actually, I've read it as a part of my college course. You'd be surprised, sir. Because contrary to what you may be believing, right-thinking people read everything. And they actually study it. We've studied everything from the Mahabharata to Gita to Marx to Quran. We studied it in college as a part of religious studies.
Let us read science.
Let us read science. Why, bhai? Then Mahua Moitra should talk about science. She should not opine on Kaali. What kind of a ridiculous statement is this? Anyhow, now let me bring in Deepak Jha as well. Deepak Jha, the beauty is that today we saw Shashi Tharoor ably lending support to Mahua Moitra. What does he say? He says, I'm taken aback by the attack on Mahua Moitra for saying what every Hindu knows. We have reached a stage where no one can say anything publicly on religion. Someone will always claim to be offended. I urge everyone to lighten up and leave religion to individuals to practice privately. But जब ये बात नुपुर शर्मा की थी, then nobody was being told lighten up. जब लोग दंगे कर रहे थे झारखंड से लेके जयपुर तक, तब तो उनके कोई नहीं बोल रहा था कि lighten up and leave religion to people. अभी सारी lightening up क्यों हो रही है?
See, मुझे एक भाजपा के सांसद हैं नरेश अग्रवाल, उनका बयान सुना होगा राज्यसभा के अंदर, पार्लियामेंट के अंदर उन्होंने बयान दिया था, वो मैं आपको पढ़ के सुनाता हूं। उन्होंने कहा था, विस्की में विष्णु बसे, रम में श्री राम, जिनमें माता जानकी और ठर्रे में श्री हनुमान, बोलो सियावर रामचंद्र की जय। ये कौन सा हिंदुत्व है भाई? वो भाजपा के सांसद हैं। अब सुनिएगा,
आपने क्यों कंडेम नहीं
प्रियंका
किया?
जी सुनिए,
आपने क्यों आवाज नहीं उठाई? हमने तो नहीं सुना, आप ही से सुना है।
प्लीज सुनिए। नहीं
आपने क्यों नहीं आवाज उठाई? इसका मतलब आपको मजा आ रहा था उन बातों में।
मैं बहस नहीं करना चाह रहा हूँ, मैं इनसे बहस नहीं करना चाह रहा हूँ, मैं इनकी पूरी बात सुनिए।
आपका पॉइंट क्या है सर?
पॉइंट क्या है? सुनिए तो सही, मेरा
आप आज जाकर के कंप्लेंट कर दीजिए।
कंप्लेंट कर देंगे, इसके ऊपर करेंगे, बिल्कुल करेंगे, लेकिन मैं कह रहा हूँ कि ये हिंदू
थोड़ी देर हो गई है, ये 4 साल पहले बोला था नरेश अग्रवाल ने, बट चलिए
आपको पता है ना पद्मजा जी, बिल्कुल सीखा। लेकिन मैं कहता हूं हमारा हिंदू धर्म हजारों साल पुराना है। इस्लाम की
नरेश अग्रवाल उस वक्त कांग्रेस में थे या बीजेपी में थे?
कहीं भी थे।
नहीं थे किधर वो उस वक्त?
सपा में थे।
उस वक्त सपा में थे।
सपा में
तो जब बोला तो सपा में थे ना?
तो भाजपा ने ले लिया ना, कमाल की बातें है, ऐसे लोगों को भाजपा ने ले लिया, वेलकम करते हैं। और दूसरी बात मैं आज कहता हूँ, हमारा हिंदू धर्म हजारों साल, 5000, 10,000, 1 लाख करोड़ साल पुराना है, लेकिन इस्लाम कितना है? 1500 साल पुराना है। 7वीं शताब्दी में इस्लाम धर्म का उदय हुआ। हम हिंदू धर्म को इस्लाम क्यों बनाना चाहते हैं? हम सब कहते हैं इस्लाम में कट्टरता है, हम हिंदू धर्म में क्यों कट्टरता की बात करते हैं?
एक सेकंड, हम नहीं कह रहे हैं ये, प्लीज व्हाई आर यू मेकिंग सच अ डेंजरस असम्पशन? ये क्या लॉजिक है? ये तो बहुत ही गलत चीज कह रहे हैं आप इस्लाम के बारे में। ये तो बहुत ही गलत असम्पशन है। दीपक झा आप कह रहे हैं नहीं जी, आप लिबरल हो तो आपको 2 लाख और सही, पर कोई और कट्टर है तो उसके बारे में नहीं बोल सकते। पहली बात तो आपको कट्टर किसी को बोलना नहीं चाहिए, दैट इज एक्सट्रीमली रॉन्ग। हर रिलीजन सेम है बॉस। आपने ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया कि नहीं वो कट्टर है तो उनकी फीलिंग्स का ख्याल रखो आप, पर आप थोड़े टॉलरेंट से हो तो अब तो चलता ही रहेगा, सब चलता है।
सुनिए, मेरे को भी सुन लीजिए थोड़ा सा, मैं आधे घंटे पेशेंस के साथ सुनाऊं आप सबको। देखिए, हिंदू तो कट्टर नहीं है, सब भाजपा के नेता कहते हैं इस्लाम कट्टरता है। इस्लाम
नहीं, कोई नहीं कहता,
सारे नेता गाली देते हैं, सारे के सारे
किसी और के मुंह में क्यों डाल रहे हैं?
मैं आपको बोलता हूं,
जबरदस्ती
सावर और
भाजपा के नेता कहते हैं, आपने एक तो कट्टर बोल दिया, फिर आप कह रहे भाजपा के नेता कहते हैं। बिल्कुल नहीं सर, ऑल रिलीजन्स क्लेम दैट दे आर द सेम, दे शुड बी ट्रीटेड द सेम एंड देन द सेंसिटिविटीज शुड बी द सेम।
यू आर अ ग्रेट जर्नलिस्ट,
थैंक यू वेरी मच, बट कम टू द पॉइंट।
बट मैं पॉइंट की बात करता हूं, हमारे शास्त्रों में लिखा है न देवो विद्यते भावे, न विद्यते काष्ठे न पाषाणे मृण्मय, मतलब जो देवता है वो न मंदिर में, न मस्जिद में, न सड़क में, न पत्थर में, न मूर्ति में, किसी में नहीं, वो आपके भाव है, भाव हृदय में रहते हैं। तो भाव प्रधान है। जो जाकी रही भावना जैसी प्रभु मूरत देखी तीन वैसी, वो वाली बात है। तो हमारे भगवान जो है ना, हमको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है कि वो खतरे में है आज। ये भाजपा के प्रायोजित जो भगवान है, भाजपा का जो प्रायोजित हिंदुत्व है, मैं ला रहा हूँ, क्योंकि
महुआ मोइत्रा टीएमसी की है, मुद्दा महुआ मोइत्रा है, आपको भाजपा दिखाई दे रहा है।
बिल्कुल, क्योंकि भाजपा के भाजपा के
हिंदू तो कोई खतरे में नहीं है बॉस। आजकल तो नुपुर शर्मा खतरे में है, क्योंकि कुछ लोगों ने डिसाइड कर लिया है कि वो इतने हर्ट हो गए हैं कि वो उनके पीछे पड़ जाएंगे। दैट इज द प्रॉब्लम।
वही तो मैं कह रहा हूँ कि भाजपा का हिंदुत्व तो खतरे में है, भाजपा के भगवान खतरे में है। मुझे तो कहीं
मेरी भगवान क्या होते हैं?
भाजपा के भगवान होते हैं जो भाजपा वालों ने प्रायोजित चला रखा। सिलेंडर की कीमत, सिलेंडर,
अब आप बहुत ही इधर उधर की बातें कर रहे हो। आई हैव अ सिंपल क्वेश्चन, लेट मी ब्रिंग इन रवि श्रीवास्तव एज वेल। Ravi Srivastava, I just quoted what Shashi Tharoor said on Mahua Moitra, saying urge everyone to lighten up and leave religion to individuals to practice privately, which by the way is a great point of view. I totally agree with it. But, and here is the beauty of liberals in our country, the same gentleman 2 weeks ago said, and I quote, when you're speaking on Nupur Sharma, of course, this is Muslim baiting rhetoric that's become standard for BJP. In India's increasingly toxic politics, Islamophobia is seen as a potent vote catcher. This time, BJP's politics has gone too far. All acceptable limits have been crossed by demeaning the Prophet himself. Matlab, in the case of Kaali Ma, you have to lighten up. You're supposed to say LOL, how funny. But in the case of the Prophet and Nupur Sharma, all acceptable limits have been crossed because this is Islamophobia. Why? If this is Islamophobia, this is Hinduphobia.
What Shashi Tharoor said, it must be his wisdom, what he said 15 days before and what he said today. As far as myself is concerned, I don't find anything wrong in Mahua Moitra's statement. This is individual choice, how you view your God, the way you view it. I am also a follower of that religion should be practiced in the four walls of your house and not wear it on your sleeve. Simple.
But then why did the same thing not apply to Nupur Sharma?
I'm coming.
All political leaders were wearing their religion on their collar, leave alone their sleeve.
Yeah, because that's the agenda. That's the agenda to bring Nupur Sharma.
Not of Nupur Sharma. Whether it be Rahul Gandhi, whether it be the AIMIM, whether it be Trinamool Congress, they all unequivocally wore their religion on their collar when it came to Nupur Sharma. Now suddenly it is supposed to be a private business. Why?
Nupur Sharma is a sub judice matter, and let Nupur Sharma defend.
And now Mahua Moitra will also be a sub judice matter. Now 6 FIRs have been filed.
No, not yet. He has not. You have only
6 FIRs have been filed.
Files FIR does not mean anything. Let the case reach anywhere.
But Nupur even against Nupur Sharma there is FIR only. It's not like Nupur Sharma mein charge sheet ho gayi hai.
She is facing the law. She is before the Supreme Court.
So Mahua Moitra should also face the law, no?
That time will decide. The law will decide about it. You will not.
But take a stand on her politically. If you are sitting here on national TV declaring that Nupur Sharma is guilty, then take the same stand on Mahua Moitra also.
Because I only take a stand that BJP is weaponizing this kind of statements. This is my stand. This is my stand.
Right.
BJP is weaponizing it against the communities, against the religion. This is what I am.
Weaponizing whose statement? Whose statement?
Anybody whoever comes, whether Nupur Sharma comes or Mahua Moitra comes or Shashi Tharoor comes or you come for that matter.
Okay. So basically बोले कोई भी weaponize BJP ही कर रही है.
Weaponize करना है उनको, बांटना है लोगों को.
BJP है या arms dealer? Okay, I don't even know if you want to respond to that final word, Shazia Ali.
आपकी अकल इतने आपको समझाती है.
I want to know कि हिंदू धर्म में मूर्ति पूजा कब
इनकी अकल में
सर ये थियोलॉजिकल डिबेट नहीं है सर, ये क्लियरली पॉलिटिकल डिबेट है दीपक जी.
पॉलिटिकल डिबेट है ना.
प्रॉब्लम यही होता है ना कि स्टूडियो में बैठ करके हम एक थियोलॉजिकल डिबेट, अब मैं बात करना शुरू कर दूं, फिर हम इस्लाम की चर्चा करेंगे, फिर मेरे खिलाफ भी FIR होगी. होगी, आप पे तो कुछ होगा नहीं क्योंकि आप मूर्ति पूजा डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, तो छोड़ दीजिए।
काली माँ क्या है?
अरे छोड़ दीजिए ना, आप क्यों इसमें पड़े हुए हैं? फालतू में मेरे खिलाफ FIR हो जाएगा, आप तो खुले घूमेंगे। चलिए ओके, आप छोड़ दीजिए, मैं आपसे अलग से बात करूंगी, आपसे अलग से बात करूंगी। आंसर शाजिया इल्मी।
मेरा सवाल भाजपा से था, साजिया इल्मी से था।
Okay, let Shazia Ilmi answer that. The matter is that the other person, I mean, I think Deepak Jha is not a serious debater, but the other person who was speaking before him, I would like to say that obviously all he can think of is the BJP.
साजिया जी, आप जवाब नहीं देना चाहते हैं, so it's okay, don't give.
I don't know who you are.
Okay, please let her answer. Deepak Jha ji, उनको बात करने दीजिए.
It's a fact. But so now the fact of the matter is that TMC has disowned Mahua to some extent, but is not going any further. Now, is it agreeing with the statement or not? So you can't do this, you can't be there and not be there. So Shashi Tharoor, of course, is completely with Mahua, so I don't know whether it's a Congress stand or not. It's not clear from what Mr. Jha has to say. Also, I don't know whether Deepak Jha represents the Congress officially or not. I want to ask a very simple question.
हिंदू धर्म और
We are talking about Kaali Ma. Kaali Ma is a
चर्चा का टॉपिक हर किसी को हिंदू धर्म ही डिस्कस करना होता है, because everyone has a point of view on Hindu dharma. We are not here to discuss Hindu dharma, thank you, because the good thing about Hindu dharma is that everyone has the right to interpret it the way they want it, and Mr. Tharoor himself said it is up to your private practice. Unfortunately though, that is not a privilege that is extended across the board, across religions, and not all religions are up for scrutiny, because who knows, some people may get hurt. Thanks very much, all gentlemen. Priyanka Tibrewal, Shazia Almi for joining. We all saw the spine-chilling beheading of Kanhaiya Lal that took place on the 28th of June, but in the run-up to that daylight murder, there was a series of telltale signs that could have been several dots which, when connected, could explain what led to the gruesome killing. Yesterday, you heard Salman Chishti, the Khadim at Ajmer Sharif Dargah, openly announcing a bounty on Nupur Sharma's head. Finally, he's been arrested for that. But he was not the only one from the Dargah to spew venom. Times Now has accessed a video of Sarwar Chishti, Anjuman Committee Secretary of Ajmer Dargah, warning of an agitation that will shake the entire nation. Now remember, these statements were made on the 26th of June, 2 days before Kanhaiya Lal was butchered. However, this wasn't the only time this man or his followers chose to issue warnings. After a procession was taken out by Hindus in Ajmer, only for backing Nupur. It was a peaceful procession. They shut their shops for 2 hours. The same Dargah, the same head of the Dargah, called for a boycott of all Hindu businessmen in the area where the Bandh was called, and even threatening that they would have to face the consequences.
आज जो अजमेर शहर में हिंदू भाई जुलूस निकालना है, हमने जो पिछले जुम्मे को निकाला था वो हमारे प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद सल्लल्लाहु अलैहि वसल्लम की शान में गुस्ताखी हुई थी, तो उसका तो जस्टिफिकेशन है। हम तो किसी के देवी देवताओं की बेइज्जती नहीं करते। हमने नुपुर शर्मा की गिरफ्तारी की मांग की थी, इस बात का जुलूस था। आज जुलूस किस बात का निकाला जा रहा है? नुपुर शर्मा की हिमायत में निकाला जा रहा था। लास्ट मोमेंट में इन्होंने बैनर चेंज कर दिया, तो मतलब कोई हमारी नबी की, हमारे प्रॉफिट की शान में गुस्ताखी करेगा और हम उसके अरेस्ट की मांग करेंगे तो आप उसके साथ सॉलिडेरिटी शो करेंगे। अब हिंदुस्तान का मुसलमान इन चीजों को बर्दाश्त कतई तौर से नहीं करेगा, और आज के जुलूस से हमारी भावनाएं आहत हुई हैं, जले पे नमक का काम हुआ है।
All right, joining us now, Subhi Khan activist, Sriraj Nair, national spokesperson of VHP, Syed Aslam Pasha of the JDS, Syed Masoodul Hassan, former Vice President AMU Students Union, and Sarfaraz Wani, lawyer. Let me first ask you, Subhi Khan, now people do not even have the right to express support only because these shopkeepers in Ajmer said that 2 ghante ke liye we want to protest peacefully for Nupur Sharma. Now you had a Khadim of the Dargah say, you had the Anjuman chief saying, इनकी हिम्मत कैसे हो गई? Why?
Padmaja, this is actually very unfortunate because all of us know that people throughout India, how much we have respect for Ajmer Sharif. People go there and pay respect. वहाँ पर लोग चादर चढ़ाते हैं, बहुत सम्मान से मानते हैं. And first and foremost, I want to say that this is the time to stand with Nupur Sharma and show solidarity, not because we are against Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam or we are against Islam, but because we will not allow that radicalism happening in India, what has happened in Syria, Afghanistan, Pakistan and all the other Islamic states. If we will not raise our voice and show solidarity for Nupur Sharma, then those things will happen in our country also. हमें सोचने की ज़रूरत है. And the first thing to resolve a problem is to actually recognize that there is a problem. These people are simply refusing. Forget BJP and RSS and Nupur Sharma for a moment. This crime, this terror attack has been committed by Muslims. They made a video showing as if it is a badge of honor that they've killed someone in the name of Prophet. So where is the problem? The problem is within the community. Why and how these kids are being radicalized, we as a community need to introspect. I admit, Padmaja, I admit that not all Muslims are terrorists, but I also confess that most of the Muslims are ignorant about their own history. Most of the Muslims are ignorant about how their religion is being misused.
Syed Aslam Pasha, and the worrying thing is, the thread I want to pick up from Subuhi Khan is that this has now come down to bullying. You can't bully an entire community.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Some miscreant in an inebriated state makes a comment that he should be, the law should take its own course. He should be booked.
Sir, how many people are you going to whitewash, Syed Aslam Pasha? That Khadim says कि उसका सर कलम कर दो. You are saying वो नशे में था.
No, Islam.
दो लोग
promotes
उदयपुर में भेंट करते हैं. उनको आपने कह दिया वो बीजेपी के एजेंट थे. अमरावती की अभी कोई बात नहीं कर रहा क्योंकि वहां एक्सक्यूज मिला नहीं है. आरा में एक लड़के को मारा. मुजफ्फरपुर में धमकी दी है. आपको पता है कि अलवर में एक कश्मीर का लड़का he shared the beheading video and congratulated them. वो बच्चा है, स्टूडेंट है वो, और वो अपने WhatsApp पे congratulations लिख रहा है. हो क्या रहा है ये?
Now allow me peaceful 30 seconds to respond to you now. Padmaja, irrespective of whoever is making such comments or whoever is making such statements, the law has to take its own course. They have to be booked and they have to be put behind bars. Having said that, Islam promotes love, brotherhood and peace. Nobody promotes this. Anyone who's taking law in their hands cannot.
What are you saying? Can you see what is happening around you? That is exactly what you are saying. That this is not about what is written. It is what is being done.
Padmaja, the moot point here is, even after the Supreme Court has said that it is Nupur Sharma who has brought in volatility in the entire country, why is the BJP protecting her? Why there is no action taken against her?
Sir, why do you keep bringing back to Nupur? Right now, the simple question in front of you is, do you not see that two people are beheaded, dozens of people are threatened, and you have another bunch of people, these are clerics, they run the Ajmer Dargah, और वहाँ पे वो खड़े होकर के कह रहे हैं that these shopkeepers, ये हमारा खाते हैं और ये नुपुर शर्मा को सपोर्ट करते हैं. इनको सबक सिखाओ. This is bullying, sir.
I want to know.
And this is the bullying of a majority. And yet we are told that there is an atmosphere of fear. Who is living in fear? Let's be very clear that in this country at this time, there is one person, and I know this is an extremely unpopular opinion, but the one person in this entire country who is the most fearful, who is the most scared, who will perhaps never live a normal life, is Nupur Sharma. Whether we accept it or whether we don't accept it.
I don't know.
But how can you have this kind of bullying? That is the question.
What is, Padmaja, I just want to ask you a simple question. If there is a person who's made blasphemous comments And the Supreme Court also has acknowledged
Sir, you
that.
cannot first of all decide that it's blasphemous, but I don't even want to go down that road. That will be judged by a court. It will not be judged by a mob standing at the gate of Ajmer Dargah and saying ki Gustake Rasool ki ek saza. Do you know that at the gate of the Dargah, you are saying, sir, you are saying that we are taught peace. But on the very gate of the Dargah, on the 17th of June, there were calls given. And do you know who was giving the calls? It was the nephew. It was the nephew of the head of the Anjuman committee. And he is still absconding.
Padmaja, you should refrain from making such comments. This is some miscreants making a statement.
Miscreants?
Why?
Miscreants?
Of course,
it
yes.
is the nephew.
Yes.
It is the nephew. Gohar Chishti is the nephew of the head of the Anjuman committee. He is not a miscreant. Gohar Chishti is the nephew. He is not some Johnny come lately. And this is on video. They haven't even denied it.
Is she a fringe element? Who is Nupur Sharma?
Nupur Sharma is a fringe element. Nupur Sharma is a culprit. Nupur Sharma is a criminal. Nupur Sharma is a murderer. What is Gohar Chishti? What is Gohar Chishti? Who is standing at the gate of the Ajmer Dargah and saying Sar tan se juda? Anyway, who is living in fear and who is bullying Sriraj Nair?
Nobody is in fear. Anybody who makes
Nobody is in fear. Nobody is in fear. Sriraj Nair. Nobody is in fear. Nobody is bullying.
This statement has to be punished.
See, these are the same people who selectively believe in Constitution and selectively abide by the IPC or CRPC. Now there was, if you remember, Akbaruddin Owaisi, he uttered, shouted from Hyderabad so badly about Hindu Devi Devatas. The case was filed and the trial went on for 5 years and the courts, pardoned him. Similar way, the courts would have, there should have been, as far as Nupur Sharma is concerned, a trial could have been conducted and whatever the court's decision should have been final. Maybe she would have also been released. Who are these people to call for Tan Se Juda? This is absolutely uncalled for. They are trying to bring in, under the pretext of Nupur Sharma, they are trying to bring in Talibani kind of culture, ISIS kind of culture. They want to bring bad name for the country. This is not tolerable. VHP Bajrang Dal is going to issue a helpline. Nationwide helpline is going to be issued. Any kind of threat, we will deal. First and foremost, we request the police to file case and arrest this kind of hooligans and terrorists. And
Sarfaraz Wani, can they be dismissed? Earlier, all these WhatsApp threats, and Subui, if you can come in on this. Earlier, Sarfaraz Wani, we were told these people are miscreants. Odd people are doing it. WhatsApp threats, some random fringe elements are doing it. Now you've got actual clerics who are saying it on camera.
Enough. Hindus had enough. We are not going to leave these people.
But lawfully, please, let's be careful.
Not going to now. We are issuing helpline.
No, you should absolutely go to the police, Sriraj Nair. Sarfaraz Wani.
Padmaja, we need to accept the fact that a wrong is a wrong. And endorsing a wrong is also wrong. So anybody who endorses what has been said, just because Nupur Sharma has not been arrested by the police, does it mean she has been let off? What she has done is a crime, and endorsing a crime is also wrong. We need to accept it, number first. Number second, this whole controversy, Padmaja, would have died down had the Delhi police, which I don't call an investigation agency no more. It's not an investigating agency, Delhi police. It is an agency for BJP and its leaders.
Leave that. No, ये पुराना राग हो गया है. Sarfaraz Wani, my simple question to you is, why are people being bullied simply for saying I support X or Y? Is that also a crime in India now?
This nation, why? Even Qassam was given a fair trial.
I will give you an example on this. Anybody in Kashmir, I will give you examples. Who has endorses any post shared by any Hurriyat leader, any sessionist post has been booked under UAP.
Subui Khan, so now Nupur Sharma is a Hurriyat leader and a secessionist.
If a person commits a crime,
way to go about demonizing somebody.
Blasphemy.
Okay, Subui Khan. So now apparently Nupur Sharma is to be seen on the same plane as a Hurriyat leader. Subui Khan.
all of us have heard a quote like shifting the goalpost. These people are not able to actually realize that what is the problem, or maybe they are scared or whatever, they have their vested interest or agenda. They do not want to admit what has happened. You need to realize that a religion is being used to radicalize the next generation of that community. We must realize that this is a great threat because these are our people. We cannot shift the goalpost by saying that falana ne ye keh diya, dhimkana ne ye keh diya, isliye humne ye kar diya. No human has the right to punish another human for blasphemy. Allah ने किसी को ऑथराइज नहीं किया है, प्रॉफिट मोहम्मद ने किसी को ऑथराइज नहीं किया है. अगर किसी ने प्रॉफिट का अपमान किया भी है तो हमारी आईपीसी के चार्जेस हैं. भारत है ये, भारतीय दंड संहिता के चार्ज के हिसाब से दंडनीय अपराध है, सजा मिल जाएगी. सर कलम आप एक सेक्युलर, एक डेमोक्रेटिक कंट्री में कैसे कर सकते हैं? और फिर चोरी और सीनाजोरी, अगर कोई आए सपोर्ट नुपुर शर्मा लिख रहा है तो आप लोग कह रहे हैं कि हिंदुओं को सामान बेचना बंद कर दो, इनको इकोनॉमिकली बॉयकॉट कर दो. अजमेर शरीफ के जो ये खादिम हैं, कोई कह रहा है कि वो नशे में थे. पहली बात तो भाई शराब हराम है इस्लाम में. एक शराबी, नशेड़ी अजमेर शरीफ का खादिम बनके क्या कर रहा है? कैसे लोग बैठे हुए ऐसी संस्थाओं में जिनकी तरफ मुसलमान युवा देखता है? टेक दैट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी, ओन इट. डिसोन करने से नहीं होगा. कोई टेरर अटैक कर देता है, टेरर हैज नो रिलीजन. कोई खादिम कोई बकवास कर देता है तो वो नशे में थे जी. यू हैव टू ओन इट, टेक रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. प्लीज प्लीज प्लीज, I have the guts and the courage to admit what is wrong in my community. I am a practicing Muslim. अपने घर की सफाई इंसान को खुद करनी पड़ती है. हमारे बच्चे हैं वो जो अलगाववादी, कट्टरवादी, आतंकवादी बन रहे हैं. Our kids are being radicalized. I am taking responsibility. I am ashamed that we failed as a community. I am ashamed that we are so ignorant about what is happening in the name of our religion.
Contempt of God. You are doing a contempt of God.
Mr. Pasha, please, Mr. Pasha, please do not threaten. It does not behove you. And to say, by the way, that what she is saying is wrong and blasphemous is factually incorrect, because you would be shocked to know that it's none other than the police in Ajmer who has said कि खादिम prima facie लग रहे थे, that he was under the influence, that he was intoxicated. Or even that, to say even that would be considered hurtful and blasphemous. The thing is very simple, sir, that it is not just about physical violence. Now it has come down to threats and bullying and threatening an entire community. It cannot be taken like that. The law is the same, sensitivities are the same, religious hurt is also the same. Thanks very much for joining us, all gentlemen. Subhi Khan.
The News Hour at 10 will be right back after the break. Where